They've had flooding rains down from south of Oklahoma City down into south central Oklahoma. We have our own flood warning. It's kind of hard to make that out right now. We'll detail that. If you missed us on Channel 6 just a moment ago, we're going to highlight all of that. We'll talk to our trackers as well. But this encompasses a pretty good chunk of southern Tulsa County, western Wagner County, Okmulgee County. We're going to start to see really heavy amounts of rainfall. Some of our computer estimates for future rainfall are still another 3 to 5 inches, and on top of 2 to 3 inches that have fallen. Most of this should be farther south, but the band we were hoping that was going to be kind of further south out of the Tulsa area, and not wishing anything bad on you guys in Okmulgee, but just hoping that it was kind of going to miss major metropolitan areas. But unfortunately, it's hitting the Tulsa area pretty hard, and that goes back in through around the Creek County area. And Stacia is watching that as well, and Brandon is right in the middle of that. And so the heaviest rains are from just southeast of downtown, really from about the from the fairgrounds, and then that extends back to the south and to the east, all the way down from Woodland Hills Mall, southern portion of Broken Arrow, now down to around Stone Bluff, and you can see just to near Haskell. These are amounts of 3 inches, maybe 4 inches, a few areas. I was just talking to Brandon, so we're going to skip Brandon for a minute in case you were with us. We're going to go on over to Creek County, and that's where Vaughn is located at this time, and there's just a swath of heavy rains that have fallen. Again, this is what has already fallen is in these areas, and so this is like in the last several hours we've had 3 to 4 inches, maybe 5 inches of rain. Vaughn is just on the south side of some of the heaviest rains. Let's go to Vaughn for a quick update, or not even a quick update. Vaughn, just give me an update of what it's like in the rural areas and what's happening there, would you please?
Okay, I am just downstream from where the heaviest amounts of rain have fallen here in Creek County. Just coming up to an area where this is where I am north of Slick and still southeast of Bristow, but this is where all these creeks that are just to the north and east of 16 and the east of Bristow, this is where those creeks have come together, we actually had about 4.5 inches of rain in the last 4 hours. So you can see this creek now is out of its banks at this point. But so far, I have not seen really any travel problems except on the back roads to where those creeks are going to get out of their banks pretty quick, and then it just kind of floods the road with 4 or 5 inches of water, just taking it slow through there as long as you can still see the road, you know. But we're going to keep tracking this. As I said, we're in Creek County right here, and this creek is getting up very quickly.
All right, and Vaughn, yeah, I know you've been in other areas. You said it hasn't yet, so I'm going to let you go ahead and continue to cover what's going on down there, because Creek County is going to have a ton of water. You see where Vaughn is right now, just north of the Slick area, and so he's closer to that pegging out near 5 inches of rain right now, just north of him. But so rivers are rising. Again, it's not really the rain that has fallen so far. It's the additional rain that could occur. And again, we're hoping we don't see a ton of this. We're going to talk more about that in a little bit. Also, in about 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to go back and do another live cut-in on Channel 6. So you'll be able to join us there if you would, or you can stay with us here on Facebook Live for a while longer. So with all this rain in this area, let's go into southern Tulsa County one more time. And JD, is JD on the line, or Darren at this time? Stephen, do you know? Darren is? Okay, good. Darren has been following it as well. And Darren, if you could, can you give us an update on the rainfall in your area and what's going on?
Yeah, Travis, over here in East Broken Arrow, I'm on 91st Street and 188 East Avenue. And on 91st here at this intersection, it is over the road. So cars it's probably covering an area of about 60 to 70 yards. It's not very deep, maybe 1 to 2 inches, but it's deep enough to where it's causing a problem, people are slowing down and stuff. Right now, this parking lot that I'm sitting in, the water is curb high, so that's 4 to 5 inches right here in this parking lot of this church that I'm at. Just be careful if you're out and about on that outside lane. You're going to see some ponding at the drainage parts. There comes a truck just flying through there right there. You need to slow down. But it ponds up right there, and if you hit that, it'll jerk you over to the right side. Just be careful of that, Travis. Back to you.
All right, I appreciate it, Darren. And yeah, we're seeing those cars come flying through there. Again, for anybody that's like watching on Facebook Live for us, man, I tell you what, coming up to Highway 75 around noon this afternoon during lunch hour, people are just flying still, and people hydroplane so quickly. As soon as we do this cut-in on Channel 6, we're going to talk to Stacia about some of the issues right now that we're having with accidents starting to be reported because people are driving too fast, and that's an issue. So, Darren, thank you very much. Back to the radar for a minute. Again, this is rainfall in the Tulsa area. Let's go to links 4 if we could and take a look at that. Here's the areas of heavy rain at this time. So you see the red, that's indicative of the heaviest rains, but yellow is indicative as well because this is a tropical system and there's a lot more tropical moisture. This isn't quite like you'd see in a hurricane, but it is very similar air mass, and therefore this is where we're getting some of the heaviest amounts of rainfall. And this is called the rain rate. And so if you get to a point where you're getting 4 inches an hour, or I mean, these are just astronomical numbers because it's just raining. We call it toad strangler is what we call it, or my folks call it. But it is so bad you can't even hardly see anything. 1 inch to 2 inches an hour is considered a flooding potential rainfall. And a few of these pockets are having even more. So especially around the Beggs area and where Vaughn's kind of running into the Broken Arrow area and then extending around Coweta right now. We're targeting that area. So if you travel, you just have to be advised that you're going to run into some issues. And number one, we want you to drive slow. Number two, within the next hour or two, much of the metro, south sides of the metro area are going to have a lot of issues. So that's why we want you to be aware of what's going on there. So just be aware for that fact. And we're also going to be watching as it continues to develop. And you can see how this is picking up and rotating around and coming back around to the area. So we do want you to know that heavy rains will continue across this area. And because of that, with the heavy rain that continues to fall, there's a good chance that we will have a lot of issues. Okay, we're going to have more information coming up in just a minute.
From News on 6, this is a severe weather update.
Hey, good afternoon. Once again, want to give you another quick update on what's going on. We've been talking to some of our thunderstorm activity continues. It's not so much the thunderstorms as it is just the very heavy downpours of rain. Localized areas are now picking up a heavy rainfall in the rate of about 2 inches to 3 inches per hour. Isolated areas are even worse than that. As you see, some of the areas, Vaughn is in the lower left-hand corner there near Bristow at this time, and you see some of the rain that's running in that area, or the rain runoff in that area. Vaughn, if you would, give me just a quick update on what's going on there. Again, we're seeing some of your video coming in. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm just downstream from where they've had about 5 inches of rain just to the northeast of me. I'm north of Slick and still east of Bristow. This is where all these creeks come together, and this creek is rising quick. So we're going to keep following this in the evening here and keep you advised. Travis, back to you.
Okay. Hey, I appreciate it, Vaughn. So again, lots and lots of water starting to flow. That's going to be a problem. If we could, yeah, thanks. We're going to look at the continuation of the areas of moderate to occasionally very heavy downpours of rain. JD is sitting just in northern Okmulgee County. This was a target zone on some of our computer estimates. Also, this area down here around Okmulgee was expected to get maybe 8 to 10 inches, but on some of our computer models, which was kind of freaking a lot of folks out. But we're still looking at excessively heavy rainfall in these areas. Let's go to JD for a quick update. JD, what's it like there on Highway 75?
Hey, Travis, so that's coming south through Glenpool there. The rainwater is collected in the bar ditches. It's beginning to come out of the ditches and onto the off-ramp at Highway 16 there. And so everywhere you look out in these fields, in the low places, the water's really starting to accumulate and really starting to build up. So we're going to keep heading south. We're going to keep an eye on it, Travis.
All right. Hey, I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Let's go to Links 1 for a minute and just give you a quick update here. Remember, there is a flood warning in effect for the Tulsa County area, and this flood warning is going to be going until 7:45 tonight, and that's primarily because of the amount of heavy rain. It's just going to take a long time for this to all pretty much drain out of the vicinity, and we're looking for it to taper off later. But right now, no, not for the next several hours, which means not good, and that takes us into rush hour as well. So this is southern Tulsa County, also into portions where we said the heaviest rains were in eastern Creek County, northern Okmulgee County. The flash flood advisories and flood warnings now in effect. The flood warnings you can see are highlighted here and also down to the south of Oklahoma City. It's just a mess. River flood warnings now around the Poteau area. Our whole areas from Tulsa south and east are under flood watches or flood advisories. And what we want you to just know is that if you're traveling, just be aware of the potential for, again, running into problems. Allow yourself extra time. Don't drive fast. Because you'll hydroplane. We'll have a lot of accidents potential. And we're going to talk to Stacia in just a moment on Facebook Live a little bit more about some of those accidents, where they are and where they're located at this hour. We'll be back with additional information, but we do want you to know that this isn't going to end for the next several hours. Additional very heavy rainfall and, of course, additional flooding. So it's not going to get better. It'll probably get worse over the next few hours. So we'll have that information as well as some storm tracker updates. And, of course, on Facebook Live, we'll be back with more information on traffic and what we expect there. Keep it here. We'll keep you involved.
We're up.
Hey, back to Facebook Live, and we do have flood warnings in effect, Sean. Yes, we do, and so it is a warning at this time. And Stacia, I'll be coming to you in just a minute with max traffic, if we could as well. Here's the latest, and we're just on Channel 6, and so if you were following that, which you might have been, some of the issues that we're seeing is that not only the heavy rains, but also the potential for more flooding. And so with more flooding is going to be coming additional rainfall, which we do have. This is the flood warning again if you're just joining us. Some of this will be a little bit repetitive, but I want to make sure that information is relayed quickly. In fact, I'm going to talk to an athletic director here in just a minute when I go have Stacia talk to us here, because this is a flood warning again, northern Okmulgee County and then also southern Tulsa County. And that extends into eastern Creek County. So we have Sapulpa, Jinx, from downtown Tulsa all the way over to near Tulsa International to near Catoosa. That extends back down to around Coweta, Porter, Taft. So I'm just naming off some of the towns obviously involved in this. This is the area that's been hit the hardest with some of the heaviest of rains. So we do have flood advisories in effect for multiple locations. We've had excessively heavy rainfall in several areas. Some heavy rainfall down around Tallahena of up to 5 inches. We've had heavy rains in southern Hughes County, the heavy rains around Creek County. Now these numbers don't look that impressive, but also some of these numbers are not showing, and we're not querying the exact locations where the heaviest precipitation has occurred. So that's why we want you to be very much aware. It's much easier to drive in the daytime than at night. So once it gets down to 7:30 tonight, it's not going to be a whole lot of fun. So with traffic in mind and a lot of people trying to make sure that they make it home, we're sitting at 2:30, 2:40 in the afternoon. Let's go to Station Night with the latest on traffic and a lot of the information that's going on there, because this is a big deal for a lot of folks that are trying to pick up kids. I picked up my kid early today to make sure I didn't have to worry about it. But Stacia, give us an update, would you?
I know, Trav, and when I came into work today, it was white knuckle driving along the Creek Turnpike up to 75 because that rain coming down so much. Your visibilities are lowered extremely. And right now in the city of Tulsa, they're on Operation Slick Streets with TPD. So what that means is if you have a collision and there are injuries, then go ahead and call 911, call the police. But if you have a non-injury crash right now, that means you need to fill out your own collision report, and you can get one at Quick Trip or you can fill one out online. So this is a wide view of our traffic map. You can see across the metro there are a couple spots where traffic is slowing down. One of those spots is coming eastbound on the BA, and that is because of a crash there that's close to the Yale exit. They're cleaning that crash up. And also we have two collisions on 169. They were both northbound. And if we could take our camera that is T2, please, because that is going to be a view of 169 here. And so you're looking to the south from 71st Street here, and you're looking towards 81st. Notice how the visibilities are extremely reduced. It looks like the crash that we did have near 81st has been cleared up, so that's a good thing. Another crash was reported up to the north, though, around between 61st and 51st. So back to our traffic map again, we have wide rain around the metro, and so this is going to be very heavy rain. You want to make sure you keep those headlights on, and you also want to make sure you're slowing down. That's the biggest thing you can do. The water on the roadway is going to be a big issue. It's already starting to pond up, and there's not really any good places in the metro where you're not going to have as much of a ponding concern. You can see here with our road condition map that blue color is draped all across the area. So the flooding concerns definitely there. And I would say the worst of it, if you're traveling in the metro today, is going to be right here along 169 south of the BA all the way down to the Broken Arrow South Loop. Within this zone, this is where we've had most of our rain accumulation, and it's been over 2 inches of rain just within this particular zone. So remember, that's from the fairgrounds, and then it extends down to the south and east. I have some tips for you as you do get on the roadways today. Please slow down, keep those headlights on, and of course turn around, don't drown. You're going to find water on the roadways, especially on the shoulders. You want to be very careful on and off ramps, getting on and off of the highways. There's going to be a lot of ponding there. And anywhere where there's a little dip in the roadway, the water is going to become an issue, and it's going to increase your chances for hydroplaning. So as you're headed home today, make sure you slow down, keep those headlights on, and turn around, don't drown. This is one thing you do not want to risk. And if we come back on camera here, in 2017, there were more fatalities when it came to flooding than any other weather-related fatalities. So flooding is not something that you want to mess with. Coming across a flooded roadway, you need to turn around. Don't risk it. You don't know if the roadway is still there. and it does not take a lot of water to sweep your car off the road. So as we go throughout the afternoon, remember we are on Operation Slick Streets, and so if you have a crash and there are injuries, call 911, call the police. But if it is a non-injury collision, a little fender bender, go ahead and fill out a collision report. Get one online. Back to radar here on Lynx 1. We'll talk about the rain that's occurring still across much of our area. This is a look at the flash flood warning. Again, this is in place for the southern half of Tulsa County, the far western side of Wagner County. We have some areas that have picked up radar estimated about 5 inches of rainfall now. So on Lynx 3, you can see one of those pockets is on the south side of Broken Arrow near the BA South Loop. There's been some very heavy rain for folks headed home today in Broken Arrow, and again across much of the area, but one of the heavier spots and one of the spots that has accumulated quite a bit is going to be this pocket here between 111th Street South and 177th East Avenue. So that's a pocket there. The yellow color signifies 2 to 3 inches of rain. When you get into the reds, that's going to be 4 to 5. Also down around Coweta, this is a pocket that is starting to increase. So this is Coweta here in the Muskogee Turnpike. Now there's a pocket from 3 inches from Coweta and Highway 51 down towards Redburn. So we're going to start to see some flooding, creeks out of their banks and roadways. Watch those low-lying areas. So you know kind of around your vicinity where the troublesome areas are when it comes to flooding. You can probably guarantee that is going to be an area to avoid, and you're going to have to find an alternate route for that. Now, another pocket that's been an issue is across Creek County. This has been a line of very heavy rainfall that has just continued to accumulate 3 to 4 inches and possibly up to 5. This is across Creek County from Depew and I-44 around the Bristow area back over towards Even Mounds. So and this is one area that's going to have, again, the flooding issues when it comes to roadways being flooded, creeks out of their banks, a lot of ponding out there. It's not going to be a treacherous drive for you. Back to Lynx 4. This is going to be the current radar. We can see the rain is just continuing, and it's not going to let up anytime soon. So for today, the tropical-like rains are going to continue, and it is just going to continuously pile up. Unfortunately, it's about 2:45, so that means kids are getting out of school here. If not, they're getting out right now, or they will be in the next 15-20 minutes. And so it's going to be a tough drive for you. My suggestion, slow it down. Keep the headlights on and turn around. Don't drown. Be safe out there.
All right. Hey, thanks, Stacia. And that is a key issue right now, is that if we can get to the point where we just get folks to slow down, that'll make a huge difference on what's going to happen as we go through the evening hours. One of the biggest things happening, and we talked about this yesterday, was we'd be in the 70s in the morning. By late afternoon, we'd be in the upper 60s to low 70s. We mentioned this a little bit ago. I can't remember, is it Coweta and Ada? They postponed their game till tomorrow? I think it was. Yeah. And so, in fact, I was just talking to an athletic director at one of the bigger schools here in the metro area just now, and they're making a decision as to what they're going to do because there's going to be a lot of football games because they're concerned about fans and obviously students trying to get to the fields. Their first concern over the last couple of days has been lightning because it rains, but most of the concern now is to make sure that everybody's safe, students are safe, fans are safe, parents are safe, everybody about just getting to a location for a football game. So this is an issue that we kind of talked about would be pretty bad for areas southeast Oklahoma. But look at the temperatures. We're down to 65 in Pawhuska right now. 70s across much of the rest of the area. We're going to be going live on Channel 6 here in about how long now? About 30 seconds? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stop for a second and we're going to continue with our live cut-in coming up on Channel 6, and we'll be back with some more Facebook Live as soon as we get done with our cut-in.
From News on 6, this is a severe weather update.
Hey, good afternoon once again. Chief Meteorologist Travis Meyer, our storm team, Stacia, Stephen, everybody's pretty much out right now, taking care and watching what's going to happen. As we look at what's happening now, some of our trackers have reported flooded roads in several locations and heavy rains, multiple locations. We do have flood warnings extending from near Bristow back into southern Tulsa County, and then that extends through western portions of Wagner, northwestern Muskogee, northern Okmulgee County. This is until 7:45 tonight. It's going to get worse before it gets better, and so let's take a quick look at radar right now, and we'll show you that rain showers, thunderstorms. That's links 3. Let's go to links 4 if we could on radar. Rain and showers and thunderstorms showing up, just continuing to pile up. Now to the northwest, we're not getting as much rain up in Osage County. There's rain, but it's not as bad. These are heavy, heavy amounts of rainfall. Our storm tracker teams are basically all over the place at this time. And then you can see where Vaughn is located, and you can see all the rain that continues down the south and is pushing north, but it's kind of stopping once it gets to about I-44. So I-44 back to the south is what we're going to be really concerned with as we go through the rest of the afternoon. And the heaviest of the rains right now are just piling up across areas of Creek County and into now Okmulgee County. Let's take a look at links 3 and some of the heaviest of the rains at this time. And you can see where we are from Bristow and then extending Bellevue and then back to around where Vaughn is located. Let's go to Vaughn with a quick update on what he has. Vaughn, what do you have? What's going on?
Yes, I'm in Slick right here, and this is Highway 16 that we're looking at, looking to the north. And as you can tell, these cars are going a little bit too fast to go through this water. This water is piled up here, and this is actually only an area that we've had a couple inches of rain. Just to my north, there's been 5 inches. But the road is covered right here. Need to slow down on these roads and take it easy, Travis.
Vaughn, thanks again. We'll be back with you shortly. Let's go back to radar links 4 for a minute and rain and shower and thunderstorm activity. It's not even thunderstorms. Can you put on lightning detection for a second, Stacia, if you would? And okay, just a count, yeah. And we're looking because that's kind of a big deal too for some of the football teams that are going to be trying to play tonight. And in areas to the south and east of Tulsa, we really haven't had that much rain except in spotty places, and that's kind of the case. Now this is tropical air mass, extremely heavy downpours of rain. If you want to travel, you have to be very, very careful. Stacia was mentioning it on Facebook Live, but again, traffic is really slowed down multiple areas. It's very important that you end up just, if you don't have to travel, don't. And always remember the thing we say, turn around, don't drown, because those are key issues that cause so much problems for so many folks. Notice though that there's just a ton of water, and this is tropical like moisture, so it's extremely heavy. It's not your normal yellow colors for rain. All right, we'll have more information coming up in a little bit on Channel 6. We'll be back on Facebook Live in just a few seconds. Keep it here, keep your promise. Okay, and back to Facebook Live. Thanks for joining us again. Wanted to go back and talk to some of our folks that are out in the field right now. And at this moment, you see JD's down around Okmulgee. You also see that we have Brandon in Broken Arrow area. Let's go to Brandon with an update on what's going on, because this is the area that's been hit pretty hard with some heavy rains. Brandon, what do you have for us? It looks like a lot of water.
Yeah, that's right, Travis. Right now, we're just between 101st and 91st off Garnett here by the old Grace Church. And as you see here, the water continues to come down in buckets. Right now, it's not as heavy as it was a little earlier. It's lightened up a little bit where I'm at. But if you look at this bar ditch, it's very close to coming out of its bank. Just up there near the light, I would say probably about another foot, and it will be over the roadway, Travis. We'll stay with it.
All right, Brandon, I appreciate it. So once again, a lot of issues going on. We also have Darren, who's out in the middle of the areas as well. And Darren is continuing to cover areas down around, is it Broken Arrow right now? I don't see his GPS right now. Hey, Darren, let's go to you. Can you give us an update on what you have, what you're seeing, what's going on?
Yeah, Travis, out here by the NSU campus in Broken Arrow on 91st Street, water is still covering the roadways in different areas along 91st. City crews have put out high water signs, but you still have folks that are just, plowing right through, and it creates a problem, for other motorists. Right now, I'm sitting in an area that's had about 3.5 to 4 inches of rain in a shorter period of time, and so it's caused traditional lower areas here in Broken Arrow. Water is starting, to approach the sides of the roads, and if you're driving on a double lane road, just that outside lane. The drainage can't keep up with the amount of rainfall, so just be careful in driving in that. Just move over to that center lane if you can, and you'll be just fine, Travis. All
right. Hey, I appreciate it greatly, and I'm sure we will be back with you before too long. And also, let's go to Stacia with an update. Stacia has, I think, a traffic update.
All right, Travis, we have a crash that is being reported to us on Highway 75 around 71st Street, and it's causing quite a bit of a backup. It is northbound, and so the backup extends all the way to 91st. Keep in mind, there's very heavy rainfall out there, and folks are slowing down all across town. We have slowdowns at I-44 and Highway 75. That's rush hour and rain. We also have slowdowns at the eastern split of I-244 and I-44. rain. I don't believe we have a crash out there, but again, it's rush hour, it's rain, it's a slow drive. One crash though, again, this is an injury collision, and right now we're on Operation Slick Street, so TPD will be responding to injury collisions only. This crash here again is at 71st and Highway 75, so this is the Tulsa Hills area, and you can see the orange to the reds. That's where traffic is pretty much stop and go because of that crash. So possibly lanes blocked, first responders on scene. Remember to slow down, give them some extra room, make it a little safer for them to be on the highway. Now you see these slowdowns here eastbound on the BA coming around the curve. I believe that's Harvard there. I need to get my eyes checked. So that's Harvard, and that is going into an area of pretty heavy rainfall. So there's been a consistent rain band on the Broken Arrow Expressway as you're approaching I-44. So as those drivers are coming around the curve there, they're really slowing down because they're getting into some heavy rain. The collisions that I told you about on 169 northbound, they have been cleared up. We had one near 81st, we had one near 51st. Both of those are cleared up, but you see slowdowns getting into the junction. That is rush hour, and that is rain as well. Slowdowns on the BA. Give yourself some extra, just don't get into a big hurry. I guess you're headed home now, so you're not really on a time crunch, but if you are on a time crunch, maybe you have to get the kids to some sort of practice or you have meetings on this Friday night, you need to allow yourself some extra time. Roads all across town are going to have ponding and possibly some flooding concerns. The low-lying areas that you know are prone to flooding, I would imagine the area around 81st and Elwood in Jinx, that is an area that's prone to flooding. That is probably going to have an issue right now. The blue color on our road condition map signifies ponding. So this is where we've had enough rain to get water on the shoulders, get water to start ponding on the roadways, especially on and off ramps. That's where you need to be very careful. Slow down, keep those headlights on. This could be a treacherous drive, possibly some white knuckle driving, as I mentioned earlier. So our tips for this flooding concerns today in the very heavy rainfall is just to slow down. I want you to keep those headlights on. If your windshield wipers are on, your headlights need to be on as well. And of course, turn around, don't drown. Do not risk driving onto flooded roadways. It does not take a lot of water to wash your vehicle off of the road. It takes about 1 to 2 feet to sweep a car away. And if with the water on the roadway, you can't actually know for sure that the road is still there. So don't risk that, and that is not something you want to mess with. So turn around, don't drown. This is a live look right now from the BA and 169. Obviously, the rain is coming down. It looks like there's some sort of construction vehicle on that center shoulder. I don't know what they're doing out there, but they're out there in the rain. They're doing something there, and that's on both sides of the BA, so both east and westbound on the east side of 169. But you can just tell on these camera images how slow folks are moving, and that's a great thing. You've got to slow down out there. You cannot get into a big hurry because then you're going to hydroplane, you're going to come across some ponding, and it's not going to be a good deal. This is Highway 75 and I-44. If you can see it, I'll show you. Watch the people that are traveling on 44 right now, the ones that are headed eastbound, so they're headed away from you on the screen. They're pretty much stopping there on I-44. That's kind of as you're coming into the merge, the collector distributor. So northbound 75 traffic is trying to merge into eastbound I-44, and they're pretty much stopping at this point. So that's weather. That's, I guess, after school on a Friday evening. Yep.
There's going to be a lot of traffic.
Don't get into a hurry.
Yep. Okay, and we keep saying it, but turn around, don't drown is our key words to our phrase. And especially, I have a son who's 15 and a half, and I was trying to teach him how to drive, but I was like in a hurry today, and I said, this is ponding water. This is why you don't drive fast. That was a no-no. And they're just flying by us at probably like 60 miles an hour. I'm like, oh my goodness. But anyway, it is one of those things that with the flood warnings in effect now for areas from around Tulsa and extending back to the south, just be advised for this. The heavy rain continues to build, and as it builds, I mentioned this before, but if you're just joining us, the heaviest of the rains continue to fall excuse me, in areas from around Tulsa and down to the south through Okmulgee County. You pretty much make it out. But anything that's in yellow is excessively heavy at this time. Stephen, you have no idea? Okay, thought you were looking at me. Some of the rainfall amounts, and it's very interesting, the places that have rain and don't. Now you made me interested in our map. Let's go to Links 1 for a minute. Way to go. Yeah, that was your little key to just tell me that to look at the map. Anyway, there's a huge difference, and the computer models were really good in this, and it's really bad in the sense that this is where we still have a severe drought. We've only had a half-inch of rain around Pawhuska, and then you look back down the Tulsa area to the south, and we're picking up again copious amounts of rainfall, and some spotty areas like around Cherokee County has not had a whole lot of rain yet, That is subject to change, and you see some heavy rains. And as we said, Talahena has had over 5 inches of rain with this, and we've had some rains of 5 to 6 inches down south of Holdenville. So southern Hughes County is in trouble as well, probably secondary roads. And then Central Creek County continues to be in trouble. Vaughn is right now, let's go to links 3 for a minute there, and you can see where Vaughn is located, and you see some of the rain. These are rainfall amounts, so these are just last 6-hour totals. You see the Broken Arrow area, you can see where Vaughn is located. Vaughn is still in the slick area. Vaughn, let's go back to you with another update. What do you have for us?
Well, yeah, I'm just south of that area that had it's had up to 5 inches of rain just north of me, and as you can see, these cars that are going across through this water here on Highway 16. This is right in slick, and right here by the little convenience store, there's a low area here, and all of this water just piles up right here in the ditches, and then it starts flowing onto the road. And for some reason, right here, it's really bad because some of these cars. There was a semi that came through just a little earlier, and it looked like a big spray wash. I mean, it went all over everywhere. But if you just slow down, like Stacia was saying, you shouldn't have any problems. And like she said, if you're in doubt, if that water is too deep, just turn around, don't drown. If you can see that road, normally you're fine. But the safest thing to do is just turn around and take another route.
Vaughn, yes, and I know some people say, oh, you're preaching a lot, but yeah, I tell you, it seems like it always happens. There's a few folks that just say, I can make it through there. Statistically, just want to point this out too, is that and it has been proven through research and studies that people always consider that if they can get home, that is the best place to be because it's the safest place. That's the place you know. And so everybody tends to want to go home, especially if there's something bad. So if there's a storm or something like that, sometimes you want to go to a shelter or whatever that you might not have at your home. But a lot of times if there's heavy rain or it's like, oh, we just got to get the kids, we got to get home. And so it becomes a mental thing where you think your thinking overcomes what you should be seeing in front of you. So just make sure that, and you can help teach this lesson as well, because unfortunately it seems like every time we have some massive flooding, somebody ends up just going ahead thinking they can make it through that instead of just waiting. Because sometimes if you wait an hour, sometimes you might have to wait 2 hours or 3, but you would still be able to get home, but just go to a safe place, dry place, or an elevated location. So that's Vaughn's video there. Let's go back to radar right now on links 4, and you can see the rain and showers showing up. And okay. And you have something on there, traffic? Can you handle that? Okay. All right. Let's go to Stacia and T-Max right now, if we could.
Hey, so we are starting to get reports coming in of places around the Tulsa Metro that are flooding and roadways actually being closed now. One of those main corridors is Yale. Yale is closed because of flooding between 61st and 51st. So instead of using Yale, you're going to have to use Sheridan or Harvard instead. And again, this is due to flooding. Also, another issue that's having problems is down to the south around Bixby at 131st and Memorial. That is reportedly impassable. But right now what we're focusing on here is Yale between 61st and 51st, and I do believe that we have a crew headed that way to get you a live look, but that's due to the flooding. Around town here, again, traffic is slowing down. There's going to be flooding concerns, like I mentioned, in many spots around town, the typical flood-prone spots, but I just wanted to bring your attention to some areas that are starting to close down. So Yale, again, in both directions between 51st and 61st, that's over near St. Francis Hospital, and then we also have reports coming in around Bixby. That was 131st near Memorial. There's going to be areas around Broken Arrow also that are going to be impassable, and it's the low-lying areas. Right now, the flood-prone areas, but we're starting to see the problems add up, Travis.
Right, and that unfortunately kind of falls in line with what we're saying, because it's additional rainfall. It isn't something that just happened and it's over with. It's just kind of elevating now. And so that's where probably most of our issues will be through the afternoon, is that it's just going to continue to be like water rising, and our issues will be rising as well. We have only one school that has canceled or postponed their football game. That's Coweta. So in case you're in the Coweta area, that football game has been. And I'm afraid there's probably going to be several more just because of what's going on. And we were all thinking lightning, lightning, and there's going to be heavy rain, but we were adjusting for some of the heavier rain and thunderstorms south and east. But right now, it is pretty much just right in our vicinity. And do we have, Stephen, let's go to Links 1 for a minute. I want to give you this update. Just kind of remember these things. As we always say, do not drive across flooded roadways. Do not drive through moving water. Believe it or not, and you can get this from, you know, from a water park. if you're ever in a big wave pool, how much power there is in water. And the broader a vehicle is, or the broader my body is, I guess you could say, the bigger the wave, you just get knocked over. Water is extremely powerful, and some folks forget how powerful it is. 1 foot of water can float vehicles, just 1 foot. And so that's something to just consider. As we say, turn around, don't drown. Back to links 3, if we could. Here's the rainfall areas that continue to show up. So heavy rains. We have Tim up on the north side, which at this point isn't as heavy. Brandon still hanging around. Looks like you're just coming out of Broken Arrow, moving into the Bixby area. North side of Bixby at this time, Brandon, and this is just an area that's picked up tons of water, so we're between 2-3 inches of rain, and then that little target zone, well, you know, that could be true, and we do expect that, and meteorologist Stephen Nairns mentioned as well, that some of our sampling is not really accurate. It's a little bit below what's going on because the air mass is more tropical than our computers are adjusted for at this time. So some of these rainfall totals could be more than what it is. Let's go to Brandon with an update. We have a little bit of time. We still go, what time? We hit at 3:06, so we've still got about 3 minutes. Brandon, if you would, can you give me an update, your location and what you have going on right now?
Travis, we are at 131st between Mingo and Memorial. They do have signs up, high water, road is closed. You got there in the live shot, there's water that has actually covered the complete roadway for about 50 to 60 yards, but there are people that are still going around the barricades, and that is illegal. So if you're out around this area, you need to heed those signs and turn around and take them to the route. It's not worth the risk, Travis. All
right, Brandon, very good point. Again, it's just another one of those things we talk about. So that, and Brandon, that road is officially closed down. Is that what you're saying? Barricaded?
That is correct. That is correct. In both lanes, it is closed going east and west, Travis.
On Mingo?
On 131st.
On 131st between Mingo. Okay, good. Because we're going to use that in our cut-in coming up a little bit, and Stacia will have more on that coming in our cut-in. So you can be ready for that, Stacia. Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate that. How long is our minute 30? Is that how long it is? Oh, that's a short one. Okay. We kind of have to estimate when we're doing cut-ins on Channel 6 just how much time we have and what we can get in there, what products we can get, what storm trackers we can get in there and everything else. So I'll be tossing to you pretty quick, Stacia, on that for the updates on traffic during our regular weather. All right, so back to what's going on. Heavy rains across this area. And again, if you're joining us, some of the heaviest rains and targeting across this area as they continue to track to the north. It's stopping around I-44. We've got some issues for the afternoon. We'll have more information, so just hang with us, and we're going to go do our live cut-in here on Channel 6.
From News on 6, this is a severe weather update.
Hey, good afternoon once again. Chief Meteorologist Travis Meyer and our storm team, our team of meteorologists are here as well. Heavy rains. We still have our flood warning in effect till 7:45 tonight for southern half of Tulsa, or southern two-thirds of Tulsa. Northern heavy rains continue across this area. Let's take a closer look at some of the heaviest rains showing up around the Tulsa area, especially around on links 3. You can see some of that rain bands coming across Coweta, Broken Arrow area, coming back in Tulsa and Jinx area, links 3 for a minute. And some of the heavy rains now showing up 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 inches in southern Broken Arrow. And because of the heavy rains now in central Tulsa County and also in southern Tulsa County, we do have some road issues. Let's go to Station 9 with some of those some of that information.
That's right. The commute is becoming treacherous for some. So let's take a look at our traffic map here. We have a crash northbound 75 at Tulsa Hills. That is most likely weather related, but we're not 100% sure. What is weather related? Yale is closed right now between 51st and 61st, both directions. You need to use Harvard or Sheridan instead. We also have flooding around 131st at Memorial and at Mingo. This is down in Bixby, so that is going to be an area to avoid. Remember the flood prone spots, those typical low-lying spots, those are definitely flooding, and as we go throughout the afternoon, we'll possibly see more.
All right, thanks, Stacia. So if you have to travel, please be very careful and know that things are changing. We're on Facebook Live. We'll keep you updated as well. Keep it here. We'll give you advice. Okay, hey, we're back again. You said Reagan's not back yet, Sean? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Welcome back to Facebook Live. Stacia just managed to get, you got a lot of stuff in there in a short period of time. That was good. You were on the move, too. I don't know if anybody caught that, but she was happening to be on the move. Michelle had to catch it with the camera just right because everything was, and you were in heels at the same time. Very impressive. As far as heavy rains, though, we're going to continue to monitor what's going on. Mentioned this a little bit ago, and I'll probably say this over, so just know that some of this information is redundant because we do have a lot of folks and a lot of fans from our Facebook Live pages that are kind of joining us, and then they'll leave for a while and come back. Latest information is Coweta is the only school that we have that we know of that has postponed their football game for tonight. We do think others will likely do that. We do have locations that have picked up excessive amounts of rainfall. We do think that some of these numbers, and you see we had a 5.7, it's up to 6 right now. Again, that's a small area, and that could be some extraneous data that maybe isn't quite right, but needless to say, there's still the potential that our radar estimates are below what's actually happening. Meteorologist Stephen Nairns mentioned that a little bit ago as well. We have multiple folks out in multiple locations. I have Brandon right now with some of the heavy rains. We talked to him a moment ago, but let's go back to Brandon with an update on what's going on. Brandon, if you could see is that still, are you still in the same location or have you moved?
Travis, I am still at the same location here between Mingo Memorial and 131st, where they have put high water road closed signs up, both north or east and west ends of 131st, and vehicles just blindly, completely just go around them. I've seen almost every vehicle. Just here comes a white pickup truck right now as we speak. It is illegal to go around barricades as they are posted, so just keep that in mind. It's not worth the risk. You don't know if that roadway's still there or not, Travis. So, but we're going to stay with it. Back to you. Thanks,
Brandon. Appreciate it. And we also have at this time Von Castor. He's on the move, it looks like, at this point as he continues to move away from South Tulsa County. And you can see where he is located just, or I shouldn't say South Tulsa County, in the southeastern portions of Creek County. He's looks like he's moving to the north. He's in a band of real heavy rain right now. Vaughn, I'm going to go to you for a moment before we go to Stacia with an update on what's going on. And we also have Reagan Ledbetter, who's out in the middle of it as well. Vaughn, what do you have for us?
Well, I'm right in between Kellyville and Slick here on the back road, and I tell you, the farmers have a different pond problem. These ponds are up to their dams. I mean, they are full of water. Lots of places on the roadway that the water is coming across from the ditches. Got to slow down for those, or that'll throw you sideways and into the ditch quicker than you know. So we're going to keep following back up towards Tulsa, Travis.
All right, Vaughn, thank you very much. Darren's also in the middle of some of that heavy rain. I don't have his GPS on right now. Darren, give me a quick update where you are and what's going on.
Yeah, Travis, this is on Garnett, right where it goes underneath the BA South Loop. And that water that you're seeing there is about 6 inches deep. This is just be to the north of the BA Loop right there. No signs or anything up yet, but the water this is a true definition of a flash flood. It's rose up very quickly, Travis.
All right. Hey, thanks, Darren. Greatly appreciate it. Let's go to one of our news reporters, Reagan Ledbetter, who's in the middle of this. Reagan, you're getting drenched. What's going on there?
Travis, the rain is really coming down now. We got here at this spot about 10 minutes ago. We're at 51st and Darlington, right next to the OU Tulsa campus. As you can see behind me, a lot of water here in the roadway. It's really starting to go up in the last couple of minutes. We have cars starting to really slow down. We got here about 10 minutes ago. There's probably about an inch or so of water. Cars are going through it just fine. And in the last 10 minutes, cars are either going around it or trying to go through it. And a couple cars almost stalled out already. As you can see, there's about to be some cars coming through right now who are really just splashing up this water right here. But again, the water is really coming down right now. There's no signs out here right now that say, you know, beware of water in the road. Just up the road here on 51st Street, Tulsa police officers have Yale blocked off from about 51st to 61st. I believe in those low spots there's a lot of water over the roadway, so not let anybody go through there at the risk of cars stalling. But as you can see, a lot of water here in the roadway right now. We're going to stay out here and keep you updated on these roads roadways. Back to you, Travis.
All right. Thanks, Reagan. Hopefully he's not totally saturated, but we're looking again at moderate to extremely heavy downpours of rain across this whole area. Now, obviously, this is going to affect traffic in a big way. We're just getting ready to go into rush hour. We're 3:11, 3:12 time period now. Let's go over to Station 9 with the latest updates. Station.
Okay, Travis, we have new collisions to report to you. Now, keep in mind that we are on Operation Slick Streets in the city of Tulsa, so TPD will be responding to injury collisions only. If you have a non-injury crash today, you need to fill out your own collision report, and you can do that at Quick Trip or you can do that online. Right now across the metro, you see areas where we have slowdowns, but one area this crash has just happened. This is going to be on I-44 near Memorial. Again, they're only responding to injury collisions, so that's really the collisions that we know about at this time. So I-44 and Memorial is our newest crash. You're starting to see those slowdowns add up because of a new collision on 169. This is 169 northbound near 81st Street. If we have our camera T2 camera, can we pull that up very quickly? Because I want to show you guys what that looks like here. So in the back of the screen, kind of in that top left-hand corner, you can see some flashing lights. This is going to be northbound, and it's on that inside shoulder. I know it might be hard to tell because of the viewing conditions with the rain and the low clouds, but this is going to be that crash that has just happened. So we have two new collisions on our highways. The one you're looking at is 169. This is around 81st Street. So coming in from the Creek Turnpike, you make that turn up to the north. Traffic is backing up, and again, they're on the inside shoulder there. So back to our traffic alert map. The other crash, remember, is on I-44 near Memorial. Now, when it comes to the roadways and the flooding issues, Reagan just told you about Yale between 51st and 61st. That is closed in both directions. Keep in mind that the low-lying areas and the flood-prone areas all around the metro are going to have a problem. So if you know of a spot that typically floods when we get heavy rain, you can pretty much guarantee that spot's going to be flooded. We have some issues in Bixby on 131st. Remember our storm tracker Brandon Wells, he is located at 131st and Mingo, and he's saying that the high water signs are up. You're also going to see some issues around 131st and Memorial. So right in that vicinity, those low-lying problem spots are having issues right now. And again, here, this is just some tips. As you get out on the roadways, we are going to see this rain continuing in the metro for a while. So this is going to be continuing for the next several hours, possibly even longer than that. Slow down. Do not get into a big hurry. Keep those headlights on. I saw a couple of folks on my way into work today that did not have their headlights on. You want to see and you want others to see you. These conditions are not good for seeing other vehicles, especially if you have a gray vehicle, a silver vehicle. It is important to keep those headlights on. If your windshield wipers are on, headlights need to be on too. And of course, biggest tip, turn around, don't drown. With water on the roadway, you don't know if that road is still there. It could be washed away, and it does not take a lot of water to sweep your vehicle off of the roadway. It only takes about 1 foot, maybe up to 2 foot for a pretty tall truck, but that's not a lot of water, and you honestly can't really tell how much water is there, especially when it's running across the roadway, rushing across the roadway. Just to knock a person over, it takes about 6 inches. So again, it is very dangerous to drive into flooded water. Do not do that. Don't take that risk. And I reminded folks earlier that in 2017, Travis, there were more fatalities from flooding than any other weather-related issue. Yes. So
driving? Or
I
just
don't know,
flooding?
Just flooding.
Flooding in general.
But a lot
Okay.
of that was from driving.
All right. Thanks, Station. And here's the bands of rain right now. As you can see, lots of heavy rain. So we have one big band of heavy rain that continues to move across the Tulsa area at this time, that to around Broken Arrow. And then that extends across western Wagner County. So you see how that is continuing to build and still pull on up into the area. It stops. It's not like there's a dam right up here, but it is stopping. And if you just kind of look at the yellows and the oranges and the reds, you get a pretty good idea of just how heavy we're talking about. And then it's having a hard time going on up in Osage County. Get up in Osage County, we just have light rain right now. Some of that is moderate rain, but mostly it would be light rain. And so we're getting really pummeled in this area where we've had the flood warning in effect. And I want to mention, appreciate the National Weather Service. They did a very good job of outlining the areas that we've had picked up the majority of the rain. Let's go back to links 1 right now, if we could. These are rain totals in the south. And so very heavy amounts of rain. We're good on that, Stephen? Okay. And so you see some of the heaviest of the rains also down in Hughes County. So if this isn't just a Tulsa thing, this is going to be around the area. But by far and away, you look at the yellows and just the reds, it's pretty much, you can just, if you're in that county, just know that you're in trouble for a while. In Sequoia County, Cherokee County, also around Adair County, you guys haven't had very much rain yet. Now this is all shifting east with time over the next couple of hours, so you will get into heavy rains. Wagner now at 2.41 inches of rain. You can see the Tulsa area, and then you can also see bands out to the west and to the northwest. We have our storm teams across the area. Darren is right now. Darren, I'm going to have to go back to you, and again, since I don't know your exact location, give me an update on that, will you?
Yeah, Travis, this is the Creek Turnpike South in Garnett. Right here, I'm sitting underneath the turnpike here, looking to the north on Garnett. And this, since I last talked to you, this water has come up another couple of inches. And so there are no warning signs or anything like that of Travis. And motorists are now starting to be just a one single lane flow of traffic in the center in order to get through it safely, Travis. But I'll keep watching it. Back to you.
Okay. I appreciate it, Darren. Thank you very much. I just ran right through your picture there. Tim's here. Tim, you ready to go? All right, good. Stacy, you want to tell Tim where to head off to? Also, as you look at some of these bands of rain, so where Darren's located, what he's talking about, again, we just we have to follow that. If you're just joining us on Facebook Live, we want you to just be aware that this is a big deal. This isn't just one of those, okay, and because it's going to rain still for another couple of hours, and that's just going to lead to problems. We have, Al just mentioned to me as well, school buses are out now, teenage drivers, brand new teenage drivers are out there now who are going home from school. And so even though if you're on Facebook, you're probably not driving. But if you are planning on getting up and taking off and driving here in the next little bit, just be aware that this is kind of a high impact of some school kids that are going to be out on the roadways, either bus or maybe driving and not really used to some of this excessively heavy rainfall. So just make sure that if you have friends that are doing that, that's a really good thing, and I'm glad Al brought that up. As far as looking on to areas where Brandon is located right now, heavy rains continue across this area, and we're focusing quite a bit on the Tulsa area, but we will look around the area. But the bands of some of the heaviest rains now on the Broken Arrow, north side of Broken, you can see how these are still pushing up to the north and northwest. And Brandon is located, he's moved just northeast of Bixby a little bit. Brandon, what do you have? What's going on?
Travis, right now we're on Mingo, just between 131st and 121st. Another high water sign, as you can see here in the video. Not road closed yet, but high water. And this is the all too common scene around the low prone flooded areas, Travis. But we're going to stay with it. I've seen a lot of people using caution and taking their time, but there's also the risky ones out there that go around the signs obliviously, Travis. We'll stay with it.
All right, I appreciate it. Let's go over to Vaughn. Vaughn continues to travel across areas that are located in eastern portions of Creek County where we've had some heavy rains. And Vaughn, what do you have for us?
Yeah, I'm just southwest of Kellyville here. Just a lot of rain, about 5 inches has fallen in this general area. So these creeks, as I go by them, I went by several of them more than once, and you can tell they're rising quite rapidly as we go along because the rain is not stopping. It's going to keep on. So that means it's going to take a while for those creeks to come down. So just be diligent in that. And if you see some high water crossing over an area that's a creek, just be very aware that could be very rapid water, and just turn around, don't drown, Travis.
All right. Thank you, Vaughn. Greatly appreciate it. Let's go to Links 3 for a moment. This is looking at it in a three-dimensional perspective. And so what we're looking at is the volume of water that's just kind of sitting up above us as well. So this is the radar looking at it in a three-dimension. And you look at some of the heaviest areas, we have that between Glenpool and Bixby, and so it's just a ton of water, and the reflectivity value is coming back off of that into the radar in 3 dimension. Just west of Glenpool, just east of Sapulpa, kind of southwest of Jinx, and so those are extremely heavy amounts. And then through central Tulsa, same thing. And then you get northern side of Broken Arrow, and we're getting closer to the radar, so it's topping it off right in here. But these are big, big amounts of moisture, columns of water. And when this is falling down on the ground, oh my goodness. And a lot of this is just tropical moisture, and it's just dumping down big time. And this goes down into Wagner County, and so you can see east of Coweta there, and just north of Porter, around the Porter area. So this is tons and tons of water coming up across this region. And this is all just going back up to the northwest and kind of raining out around the Tulsa area, and then it's going to continue to move around. We're just how long? Oh, okay. We're going to do a cut-in right now on Channel 6, so stay with us.
From News on 6, this is a severe weather update.
Hey, good afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Travis Meyer, entire storm teams covering the weather and heavy rains, and we still have our flood warning till 7:45 tonight for central and southern Tulsa County, northern Okmulgee County, western portion of Wagner County, northwestern Muskogee County, and eastern Creek County. And so far we've had at least 3 to 4 inches of rain. Let's go to Links 3 for a quick update on some of the rainfall totals as well. And some of these rainfall totals, again, we're targeting just these little areas, but we have had between 2 and 5 inches of rain probably easily in some of these areas. And localized heavy rainfall has caused some issues. Stacia's been watching the traffic and issues with that as we start to get to schools out and everything else. Stacia, quick update.
All right, Travis, we have some roadways that are definitely closed in the metro, and so around town, watch those low-lying areas especially and the flood-prone areas. We also have collisions on I-44 near Memorial. There is a crash that has just occurred. Right now we are on Operation Slick Streets with TPD, so they'll be responding to injury collisions only, and we are hearing reports that this is possibly an injury crash. Again, that's I-44 and Memorial. We also have a crash on 169 near 81st northbound that's really backing things up. We've had several collisions as we have gone through the afternoon hours, but because of flooding, Yale is closed between 51st and 61st over by St. Francis. In Bixby, we have problems on 131st near Memorial and Mingo. Travis, a lot of issues.
A lot of issues. So if you have any travel plans, please be very careful. We say turn around, don't drown. We'll have continuous coverage with Facebook Live and also on Channel 6 if necessary. Keep it here. We'll keep you advised. Okay, welcome back to Facebook Live. We're continuing to kind of look at some of the issues associated with what's going on. So with its localized heavy rainfall, the flooding potential is going to be going up. One thing that's different between Oklahoma City and Tulsa is because we have a little bit more hills and valleys. We have a little bit better drainage system than Oklahoma City. If you're ever, in Oklahoma City, I'm not going to diss on Oklahoma City, but they're just flat. We've got some relief. We kind of look good. But Oklahoma City, they get 3 inches of rain and then about every street seems to be flooding. We're a little bit luckier, but we do have some issues because of the amounts of rainfall that have fallen. And this is again on the south side of Tulsa. And as you look at, it looks like the radar is just a little off angled. Or is that my head a little bit? Is it, are we just, not that it matters, but since I'm, thank you. That means so much to me. It's the little things that make me have small things in life that just make me. I felt like I was tilting my head just a little bit weird. Anyway, some of the heaviest rains around Woodland Hills Mall and areas that are prone to flooding are most likely going to be the biggest issue, obviously. We mentioned this before. Stacia just pinpointed a couple locations that had some target, and these might be target issues and overdone just for whatever they might have hit reflectivity or something else. Could have been a car, could have been a plane or something like that. But anyway, whatever the case is we're still generalizing about 3 to 5 inches in this zone. A lot of heavy rain. Now, I have not heard, Sean, have you heard of any reports of any other football games? Not yet? Okay. We mentioned Coweta is out, but you can look at it. This is a huge chunk. And again, a lot of our models kind of were a little bit further south in Okmulgee County, but this has ended up being in southern Tulsa County, and then Creek County looks bad. Reagan is also there? Okay, good. Reagan, yeah. He's back there? Okay, good.
He's ready to go on a live shot.
Is he?
Check on more football games.
Okay, I appreciate it. And so the heavy rains continue across the eastern portions of Creek County. Vaughn has just moved to the north of some of the heaviest of the rains there, but now we're up to 5 inches just to the north of Slick, west of Mound. So this area is getting pummeled with heavy rain. My pond might actually get a little bit of water in it. I might become a happy camper. Anyway, let's see if Reagan's a happy camper, because I don't think he's going to be. Reagan, what's going on?
Travis, I'm thrilled right now. Just nice and dry, nice September day, mid-September, fall's almost here. Well, we made it to 51st and Yale, and it is officially closed all the way down to 61st Street. You can see behind me, Tulsa Police has both sides of the road blocked off all the way down there, and it's causing a lot of traffic backup. It took us a while to get over to this spot because there are so many cars trying to figure out which way they're going to go because they can't get on this main road right here on Yale. Again, the water is still coming down. It's kind of a steady rainfall rainfall right now, but all the water from this high spot right now is flowing down to those low spots, causing that flooding as we were just at a few minutes ago. But again, this area between 51st and 61st on Yale is closed right now. It's been closed for a while now. I'm not sure how long, but it looks like it's going to be closed for a while. You can see far down there is water over the roadway, so not letting anybody through. A couple cars have come through as they're leaving their businesses, but not letting any traffic out through there. We're going to stay out here and kind of see what happens out here. But again, a lot of water on the roadway, and it just keeps getting worse out here. Back to you, Travis.
All right. Thanks, Reagan. Greatly appreciate it. Again, tons of water falling across the city of Tulsa and surrounding areas, and this is some of the rainfall reports. I'll show you a live radar in just a moment, but I do want to talk to a couple of our guys that are out in the field right now. We do have Vaughn, who's continuing to, he's basically driving, he's just getting out of some of the heaviest rains, getting closer to Sapulpa. Vaughn, no problems in Sapulpa at this point? I'm making an assumption, I guess.
No, really not. Just the rain's pretty moderate, so it's just kind of annoying. But there is a lot of ponding going on still on the roadways. Not like it was down around Slick, but as this rain keeps coming, then we're going to get a lot more problems like that develop many other places, Travis. All
right, I appreciate it. So again, Sapulpa's kind of in a spot, and we can go back to radar for a minute where Vaughn is located there on Links 3. Yeah, Links 3. If we could. And you can see that he's not in the heaviest of the rain areas at this time. So he's just near Sapulpa, and he just came out of some of the heaviest rains that were down south. Now, just because it goes from yellow to green doesn't mean it's like the end of the world right in those two areas, but there's a significant difference in terms of that kind of starts telling us, hey, there's a lot of water. So again, Sapulpa has not had about the same. Links 4, is that what you're saying? Is that what you said? Oh, okay, Links 4. Oh, you were trying to be very quiet. And then I did kind of call you out. All right, so anyway, with the rainfall, and here's what it looks like on radar at this time. Here comes a heavier band coming into the Sapulpa area. We mentioned to the north it's not that big a deal, but as we look at the heaviest rains right across southern Tulsa now, and we're focusing on southern Tulsa because this seems to be the worst, and we're going to look at a couple other areas of eastern Oklahoma too, but this is where we've continued to accumulate additional rain because it's not going away, it's staying there. You can see heavy rains at Jinx and Glenpool now. Come on, Pond. Let's go for it. Broken Arrow, though, it's not so good when it's on the roadways, so moderate rains continue. NSU campus, heavy rains. We also have moderate to heavy rains, again, once you get in western Wagner County. Darren is located in those areas. Darren, can you give us another update on what you have going on?
Here at 91st and Garnett on my way to a secondary location. But that area right there underneath the Creek Turnpike South at Garnett, right now the flooding leak is about 60 yards long. But as I was traveling out of there, the water it lacks just several more inches, and it goes from being 60 yards long to about a quarter of a mile long. So we're going to keep watching this area right here because then there's no signs up to warn people. And so if you're just plowing along through there, you're going to hit it. You're going to hit about 4 inches of water, Travis.
Okay. Hey, I appreciate it very much. Thank you. And so we're going to continue coverage. We're going to go to Brandon right now, who looks like, Brandon, you're going to have to give me an, uh-oh. That's not good. What do you got?
Yeah, Travis, right now here on South 129th between East 141st and 132nd or 131st. There's two semis involved here. It appears one semi, the semi that you cannot see in the shot is on the other side. The one that has the trailer off the side of the road there in the mud went to stop to avoid hitting the one in front of him, and he locked up his air brakes, and when he did, he slid off the roadway, and he can't really go anywhere because he is load shift, and he may that truck may roll over on him. So they're just waiting on a wrecker to get here, Travis.
Oh boy, yeah, that doesn't look too good. All right, hey, Brandon, I appreciate that. We'll let you go for a moment and continuing covering heavy rains across the area. And we have had Darren and Vaughn, and let's see, Brandon's showing up there. Also, yeah, let's go and look at what's going on elsewhere. So in Wagner County right now, so we have some moderate to heavy rain showing up in these locations. And as you look further to the south, we continue to see moderate to occasionally heavy rains. They're still going on where JD is located. Is JD's video back yet or not? Or you don't? REM 30? Is that JD? Okay, he's on 30. Okay. Let's go to JD. Is he available? Okay, I can't talk to him right now. Okay. This is the bands of heavy rain. And kind of look at how this is rotating as well. Is that on a fast rotate cycle right now? Okay. And what we're looking at is, watch how this is coming up. This is kind of curving here. And then some of this is kind of going back to the west. So this is a wave of energy that's coming through and is very slow. And that's our biggest problem right now. And because it's so slow, that's what's causing the issue with it just slowly moving and causing more of the problems with the potential for flooding. So you can see all of our guys here. We've moved JD a little bit further south for potential flooding, and we'll talk to him in a little bit. But you can see southern Hughes County also picking up some very, very heavy rainfall. Tallahena, as we mentioned, had 5 inches, and there's some breaks in it, and there's still not much going on around Cherokee County, but we're watching that. Let's go to Links 3. And this is back in Tulsa, but Stacia, I'm going to have you widen this out a little bit. As we look at a couple of locations, we're going to look at mainly yellows and reds. I guess we'll just use the color combinations for now. We're starting to see, and we really have seen this because Hughes County was first place that was hit with some of the heaviest rains. But this is down getting into the southwestern, just near Ada. And so it's a lot of water going on there. And that is going to continue to be a potential for areas where we could have flood warnings before too long. Then you can look back to around Tallahena. But there's several pockets here that just haven't had hardly that much rain. So this is confined just in specified locations. One of our computer models, just to let you know, I was paying close attention to, had this area about right here. From Muskogee to Okmulgee to near Tahlequah. But it is about 25 miles further to the north and west. So that's what's causing the issues with some of the areas in Tulsa. We were thinking South Tulsa County more than likely would have issues, in Wagner County, southern Wagner County. But this is a little bit further north than what we had forecasted by just a little bit. But you can tell that the target zones are pretty intense in some of these areas with localized heavy rainfall for the last 6 hours. So this is now, oh, you're on the 12-hour rainfall totals now. So, okay. And as we look at also down along I-40, not a whole lot of issues right in here. This is building up, though, and going back to Links 4 for a minute to look at the rainfall in this area. Here's I-40 where I was just talking about, and some of the heaviest rain bands are still coming up on you guys that are going to be in Hughes County. And then also in areas of McIntosh County, we're getting the heavy rains now. You see there's a little break in Latimer County for now, but this will continue to build and track to the south and to the east. And then you can see where JD is located. We still have moderate rainfall occurring there. Really, that's heavy rainfall. I had mentioned this before, but if you've just joining us on Facebook Live, we have a tropical atmosphere, and yellow normally means, oh, moderate rain, briefly a little bit heavy. This is heavy rain once it gets into the yellow. It's like toad strangler. And then once you get to the reds and oranges and reds, then you're like, oh my goodness. So this is pretty big deal. And notice it's not moving too far east. It just continues to track to the north a little bit further and faster. And we are, how far away are we from our cut-in now, Al? About 10 minutes now. 10 minutes? Okay, good. I want to go to Stacia for an update on traffic. Or do we have Emory?
Emory on the phone.
Oh, good.
80 South Tulsa.
Okay.
1st and 169.
Okay, Emory's with us right now. Emory, if you would, we're going to go Stacia after that, but Emory, if you would, you're on the phone. Give us a quick update on your location. What's going on, would you?
Yeah, we're down at 81st and Highway 169. We've got a shot up there of a accident, two-car accident that is looks like someone spun out and hit the side of the bridge, and another car hit them. This is northbound lanes of 169, and there's still a pretty steady rain down here, but a lot of water on the roads. We've seen places where it's ponding even on these highways, and so this looks like yet another of the accidents that we've seen where somebody was probably just going too fast and got into a little bit of a hydroplane situation and had a little accident here. Okay.
All right, Emory, thanks. I appreciate it. Be careful there, obviously. So this is pretty much a look at what's going on nonstop for some of this. So from Emory, we're talking about the heaviest of rains continuing across areas that are being pumped up. And as I showed you just a little bit ago, just this rain continues to track further to the north. And Stephen, if you would you move the radar here while Stacia's getting ready for the thing on Links 4? Move that back to the north just a little bit into Tulsa County. And so we can see. So if you look north, notice how up north here for Washington County, Nowata County, these areas are not picking up rain, but we're getting bogged down right in the Tulsa area. This is kind of just right in here. It just keeps going around. And so it's just same spot over and over. Very, very heavy rainfall, and therefore the traffic issues are going on. Stacia, I know you have an update on that. Can you give us a quick update?
I do, Travis. All right, so the updates on collisions are coming in pretty quickly, and I'm going to start off with the one that was over on 169 near 81st. So this is the one that we just saw the images coming in from Emory. And so right now, also Darren Stevens, one of our storm trackers, drove by this crash site, and traffic is backed up in the area again, possibly weather related, but the inside lane and the outside lane are both closed there, 169 northbound near 81st. And we saw the live picture from that of Emory. Also, we had a crash to report to you on I-44 near Memorial. We are on Operation Slick Streets with TPD. So what that means, if you're just now joining us, is that when we're on Operation Slick Streets, the Tulsa Police Department will be responding to injury collisions only. If you have a crash and there are not any injuries, go ahead and fill out your own collision report. You can grab one at Quick Trip, or you can fill one out online, and both vehicles, or all the vehicles involved, need to have their own collision report filled out. But this is a look here at I-44 near Memorial of a possible crash there. Also a new collision to tell you about is going to be at 41st and 145th East Avenue. So that's out in East Tulsa, just north of the BA. You have to slow down right now with the heavy rain that's still continuing to move in across the city. We have ponding on the roadways. We have water that's building up on the shoulders, on and off ramps, and any little divot, any little dip in the roadway is going to have that ponding water, and that is going to increase your chances of hydroplaning. So the best thing to do is slow down. Do not get into a big hurry. Allow yourself plenty of extra time. What you're looking at here is our traffic map overlaid with radar. So you can see where the lighter rain is falling near downtown, all the way down to about Tulsa Hills. Then the rain's getting a little heavier. I came in today on the Creek Turnpike over to 75, and it was like white knuckle driving. I don't think I got over 45 to 50 miles per hour. So please slow down right now in those heavier pockets of rain. You should probably even slow down more than that. You're looking at a live view there of Darren Stevens with some water kind of rushing on the side of your screen. So the ditches are full, creeks are filling up, and roadways are starting to have issues. Speaking of the flooding, Yale, remember, is now closed between 51st and 61st because of flooding. That's over by St. Francis Hospitals. And then down to the south, we have problems in Bixby that we know of around 131st Street between Mingo and Memorial. These are obviously not the only issues in town. Those low-lying flood-prone areas that you know of, you can pretty much guarantee that they're probably having some flooding issues, and those would be good spots to avoid.
Should we just go ahead and close 81st and Elwood right now by Jinx?
I mean, I mentioned that like an hour ago, and that's got to be a problem.
Yeah, even 1 inch of rain is almost too much right down in there. So again, wherever you go, though, that's what we're mainly going to be watching for. We're going to be doing another cut-in here before too awful long, coming up in about 5 minutes on Channel 6. But flood warnings continue in the Tulsa area, and that's going to continue until 7:45. If you're just joining us, thanks for joining us on Facebook Live. Our storm teams are all across the area. I'm going to go to Darren first because he... you can see his video right here. That video is a lot of water, and it's trying to drain. Darren, give me an update where you are and what's going on.
Yeah, Travis, I'm at 169 and the Broken Arrow Expressway. This is Mingo Creek. We've all driven by it 1,000 times. But what I wanted to point out here is, normally there's just a small trickle of water that runs through it. And the Mingo Creek flood expansion project, as we all know, is 1984. But this thing is to the brim right now. I mean, it is. You can see it. It's rolling hard. And that's, because of all these, tropical rains that we've had here. So this is very dangerous. This all runs to those flood retention ponds that they've built. But this area here, there's several accidents, both north and southbound along 169. Slow down. You'll be just fine. Back to you.
All right. Hey, thanks, Darren. Greatly appreciate it. Again, those are important things that are going on. And as we know, Mingo notoriously was just when I first started in TV, and that was quite a while ago, it was just during the time when we were trying to figure out how Mingo could be tamed, and the city of Tulsa figured it out. So hopefully we've got that under control, because it would always flood when we get in situations of 5, 6, 7 inches of rain. Stoplights are out right now at Yale and the Creek Turnpike. Yale and Creek Turnpike lights are out, and that is causing traffic to back up. Of course, that's coming straight out of the St. Francis kind of feeder where a lot of people go south out of St. Francis there at 71st and Yale. So that's going to be jammed up. Schools are mostly out now. Most of them, the last ones usually close at 3:30, a few at 4. So it's we're 3 minutes out. Okay. Those bands of rain still coming in across the Tulsa area. And so what Darren was showing us there still shows us, you know, that's still a big deal. We have, let's go to Vaughn. I haven't talked to him for a few minutes. Vaughn, can you give me a quick update? I guess you're kind of in the bands between Sapulpa and also it looks like near Glenpool. What's going on?
Yeah, the rain's starting to get a little heavier here. The traffic's flowing along good, except that the areas in the highway where you have the curb, that's a problem area. So everybody's driving in the left-hand lane, which is a good thing because once you hit that puddle that's flowing down that curb, it really pulls that wheel and can cause a crash really easily. But we're kind of heading back towards those area pockets of very heavy rain, and we'll report back with you as soon as we get there.
Right. Hey, thanks, Vaughn. Greatly appreciate it. Reagan is live right now with us again, and at the flood. Oh, for the TV cut-in. Oh, okay.
I'm just keeping you on your
Focus, focus. Okay, good. Reagan is not with me yet. Reagan will be with us here shortly. We're 2 minutes away from doing a cut-in. So let's go to JD for a moment. JD is down on I-40. Can you go south just a little bit on there? And what we're going to do is go on moderate heavy rains in Okmulgee County, and you see JD right there. JD, just give me an update. Looks like you're on I-40. Are you eastbound or westbound? We did.
Well, I'm actually just south of I-40 on the Indian Nation Turnpike, Travis. And so far, the ditches are doing fine. The creeks are doing fine. But we are receiving a lot of heavy rain and a lot of ponding on the Indian Nation Turnpike. So we're going to keep driving around and keep watching these low-lying areas, Travis. We'll send it back to you.
All right. I appreciate it. And then Darren is also traveling right now. Looks like he's in some traffic. Darren, what do you have for us? How are things going where you're located?
Yeah, Travis, eastbound on the Broken Arrow Expressway, and there's a slowdown area right here where you exit off to get off on Garnett there. But I don't know if it's high water, but DOT is out here with one of their trucks, and there's both the trucks on the westbound and eastbound side, and it does look like there's water on the inside lane, Travis. So move over to your right. You'll be just fine, Travis. Back to you.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate it. And we'll be talking to Stacia in a little while. And we have 2.5 minutes left. Okay. No, I mean, that's the length. Yeah. But I was trying to figure out if we have time. What we're going to do is we're going to get ready for our cut-in on Channel 6. And I'm going to set this up so that we're ready to go. So we are going to be back in just a moment, but just no heavy rains. And we'll be back just a little bit with additional coverage coming up.
From News on 6, this is a severe weather update.
Hey, good afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Travis Meyer. Entire storm team is out running around. Our staff meteorologists here, 3 to 4 inches, now up to over 5 inches of rain in some areas. We have a flood warning in effect for the Tulsa area. Flash flood warning, that is, till 7:45. Look at radar right now showing rain and showers across the area, and we still have heavy bands. One of the heavier bands right now in Wagner County. We're having moderate to heavy rain still around the Tulsa area. This will lighten up later on, but for the time being, still lots and lots of water going on from Tulsa to the south. Take a closer look right now in Links 3. Some of the heaviest of the rainfalls have been in central and southeast Tulsa, from downtown Tulsa and extending back down from areas, you could say I-44, Broken Arrow Expressway, further to the south and around Yale. That's where Reagan is located right now. Reagan, if you would, give us an update on what's going on near Yale.
Yeah, Travis, that road, Yale, is still closed between 51st and 61st Street. A lot of water on the roadway down there. All that water from these high spots is flowing down into those low spots, so that's why I ended up closing the roads. So we're going to stay out here and kind of keep you guys updated on how things are going. But again, it is still closed on Yale between 51st and 61st Street. Back to you, Travis.
All right, thank you, Reagan. And let's go to Stacia with an update on some of the traffic.
All right, Travis, we have some collisions out there on our highways. The first collision we'll tell you about is 169 near 81st. We have Emery Bryan, who's been on the scene there. The inside lane and the outside lane both closed because of this crash, and most likely is weather related. You're going to find some slowdowns. We're on Operation Slick Streets with TPD. That means they're only going to respond to injury crashes only. If you have a non-injury collision, fill out your own report at Quick Trip or do it online. I-44 and Memorial also has a crash in that area, and then at 41st and 145th. So we only know really about right now the collisions that involve injuries. We can also tell you that Yale is closed between 61st and 51st, is over by La Fortune. Please be careful in all of our low-lying flood-prone spots. They're going to have issues. A couple of them that you know about is 41st near 41st and Sheridan, 41st and Memorial, 71st and Memorial as well. So those typical troublesome spots, Travis, are going to have issues. Slow down, headlights on, and turn around, don't drown.
Oh, yes, and very important words to live by, quite literally. All right, so we still have lots of rain happening across the area. We still expect heavy rains for the next several hours. This is just continuing, and we'll have additional information coming up shortly. Keep it here. We'll keep you advised, and also on Facebook Live. All right, welcome back to Facebook Live. We're going to continue our coverage as for the next little while here. We'll probably, if nothing gets a whole lot worse, we might end up taking a small break to get organized for our 5 o'clock newscast. But we want to keep everybody advised because this is a developing kind of fluid situation. And so that is one of those things. Did you hear that, Stephen? Yeah, you heard that. That was bad. Where changes are continually occurring, but we do see heavy rains and bands of moderate to occasionally heavy rains still showing up, and you can see down in southern Okmulgee County. JD is located there. Some of the heavier bands have kind of slowed down a little bit around the Tulsa area, not quite as intense. Then we have this pocket up to the north where there's basically nothing going on. I wish we could give you an inch or two of rain. We would just push that up there to you guys because we're still in a severe drought, and guess where it's not raining? Probably the only place in Oklahoma that it won't rain is probably where there's severe drought. Now, I don't want to make it negative for anybody who's up there, but we just, you know, hopefully you get an inch and a half of rain. That'd be nice, but it's going to be just tough going. All right, so moderate to heavy rains moving into southwestern portions right now of Pittsburgh County and around the Kiowa area. If you see red, that is torrential rainfall, and then rainfall rates. Stacia, could you go to rainfall rates, if you would? We're going to look at some of the heaviest bands. We do know that in Wagner County, some of that's excessively heavy at this time. So when we look at that, and can you cut out the some of the lighter colors, possibly? And so we just, there we go. Thanks. So what we're going to look at is some of the heavier bands, and you can see where those are located. So there has been a little bit more of a push, which we were kind of hoping was going to happen, so it didn't stay in the same spot, that it'd kind of be generalized a little bit more. So we're getting a little bit more going down in McIntosh County now, and also in a portion of southeastern Okfuskee County. So right where JD is located. Is JD on the phone for us? There he is. Hey, JD, if you're with us right now, you're kind of, looks like you're, well, REM 30. He is with us only in GPS form, not in video. I should have looked at that before I asked for it. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, JD, you can hear me? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me, Travis?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now, Travis?
Yeah, go.
Okay, so we're on the Indian Nation Turnpike right here at number 9 Highway, and we're under a heavy band right now. The visibility has been reduced down to around a half mile. We're getting very heavy rain. So far, the flooding has not been too much of an issue here for the train drill, you know, up and down. So wherever these all drain down to, that's where the problem's going to be, and we've not found that yet. So we're going to turn around and head back up towards I-40 and take a look at that for you, Travis. Back to you.
All right. Are you headed on over toward the Rayford area and Vivian? Are you going to go east, or what are you going to do? Are you going to head? Are you going to stay right in that area?
Yeah, we're going to hang around 75 and I-40 there, and possibly head east from there, Travis.
Okay, yeah, because you're in a good area, because there's still going to be some localized heavy downpours of rain in that area. We'll talk to Stephen. You guys can talk in just a minute. Down there now, which is just to the west-northwest of McAllister, and in western portion of McIntosh County. Now you see Dustin. So these are heavy amount, especially when you get into 2 3 inches an hour. I mean, that's just like a ton of water. Let's go further to the north and to the east a little bit, and you can see like around Lake Eufaula getting some heavy rainfall around Rayford. These are, and we're just showing the heaviest. This is not showing all the rain. This is showing really heavier downpours. An inch an hour is considered heavy rain. And so this is about an inch an hour, a little bit less in a few areas, and the darker greens indicate more. So these are different bands that are continuing. And you can look on up toward the Council Hill area, and that is across northern McIntosh County, and then extending now into southern portion of Okmulgee and southwestern Muskogee County. So these areas continue to pick up bands of moderate to heavy rain. And then back into our area, and the one that we were talking about is in Wagner County now, with some of the heaviest of the rains going on from around just west of Wagner. And as we look at that location, yeah, if we could look at that a little bit closer. Some of these bands are excessively heavy, so as you look at these areas, that is amazing amounts of water falling. Amazing amounts of water. And so that's an issue that is going to continue to be a problem for a while. So just be aware of what's going on with Wagner County now, because these are torrential downpours of rain. And what motion do we have on that? Can you put that loop on that possibly and get us a little bit more of an indication? So that's still kind of not moving very far, very fast. That's not a good thing. We should have some pretty big accumulation starting to pick up in these areas in a little bit. Back into southeast Tulsa County, this is where we're finding the heaviest bands of rain again. And so Brandon's down near Bixby. We have Vaughn, which is located not too far from my farm pond, in fact. Vaughn, what's the conditions down there in South Tulsa County at this time?
Well, I was getting ready to say something about, are we on Facebook or are we on News on 6?
We're on Facebook, right? Hey, you're going by one of my hayfields.
Well,
you just went by a hayfield of mine.
Since we're on Facebook, I got a note from, on the wire service that said, your pond is full and Dick Farrow wants to borrow some of it.
That's about time, because Farrow's always had a bigger pond and a lot more water with it, so I've not been a happy camper with that. So he always gets more rain than I do. But, yeah, so has there been any flooding, though, around the Glenpool area or Jinx?
Just like bar ditches are pretty full. All these drainage areas they made the soccer fields into drainage areas. This one on what road am I on? Am I on Elgin? That soccer field that's a drainage area is got a lot of water in it, so it's doing its job, holding it until they can disperse it after hopefully when the rains slacken up just a little bit. But yes, there's a lot of water falling here, but no major issues, Travis. Okay, I appreciate it very much, Vaughn, and appreciate being there. There's just on the left side there, that guy was bailing last night, some round bales right in that area. I was like, I hope he got done. He did. We hit at 411. Okay, cool. So what we're looking at is heavy rains again across the south sides of Tulsa. You can see those bands are heavier. Let's go back to radar if we could, or let's stay on links 4. We're going to go to radar right now and get more of the reflectivity values showing up. And so you see rain across the Tulsa area. Here's some good news, is that a lot of this rain that's happening in the Tulsa area, we still have extremely heavy rainfall, so it's not going to end. And so we're getting more than just bar ditches in a few areas. But some of these bands have been continuing to move. This is mainly now more of a southern Tulsa County, Wagner County issue. Brandon is near Bixby, and so Vaughn and Brandon aren't too far apart. But let's go to Brandon and find out what he has going on, because that's been an area that's been flooding down around the Bixby area. Brandon?
Travis, surprisingly, here on Memorial at about 171st, that mobile home area that normally gets a lot of rain, I'm very surprised that there's not very much rain right there, as much rain as we've had, anywhere from 2 to 2.5 inches. But the roads here on Memorial are along the curb. They are flooded. The drainage is having a hard time keep up with it. But other than that, Travis, here on the very southern end of Bixby, it doesn't look near as bad as further north you go on Memorial. Back to you.
Very interesting. I appreciate that. Also, we'll be back. Where's Tim Crone now? Is he? I see he's on 38, right? He's not available right now. Okay. So the heaviest rains continue to kind of bend across that area. So I'm going to have, Brandon, if you're listening to me, I'm going to have you get back on over in the Broken Arrow area a little bit, because Vaughn's kind of headed your way, and we'll get Brandon over on the south sides, southeast south and southeast sides of Broken Arrow, because that's where we still have some issues going on to near Coweta. This was some really heavy rains that pulled through this area, but so far, and I'll have Stacia, I'm going to have you do an update on max traffic here in just a minute. But to give you an idea again, this is going to gradually be shifting farther south and east with time, and so there's still a good chance that a lot of high school football games from Tulsa north can be played without a whole lot of issue. Now, south and east, we're going to be dealing, again, there's no lightning, which has been a blessing, because if there's lightning, it just shuts down, which is what it's supposed to do. Yeah, we can do that. And
you explain more on why they close Yale.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
More than just flooding.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to Reagan then for a minute, and then we'll go to Stacia with a traffic update. Reagan is still at 51st and Yale. They closed Yale for a while. Reagan, you have information on that. What's going on?
Travis, I just spoke with police right behind me and trying to figure out, exactly why it's closed. Well, he said at 51st Street, it's that low spot between 51st and 61st, and I guess they had the fire department called because multiple cars had stalled out in that area, so they decided to just end up closing it off. It was a tough decision because it's around 5 o'clock on a Friday night, a lot of traffic through here, but they do advise people to be patient. The roadway being closed, it's a big area right here, but be patient as a driver and just take your time and go slow with all the water on the road. Back to you, Travis.
All right. Hey, Reagan, I appreciate that update. Also, Stacia's been working on some traffic. She'll have that for us in a minute in some of those areas. But this is the bands of heavy rain again. So the good news is if you're in North Tulsa, it's not as heavy. It hasn't been as big of a bugging thing. South sides of Tulsa and then into Wagner County. This is where we're dealing with now the heaviest amounts of rainfall. This will be affecting probably some of our Friday night football games. But the Tulsa area, not so bad to the north, not so good to the south. Traffic, I'm going to say, Stacia, not so good. Is that right?
Not so good. Nope.
Okay.
This is not the ideal driving conditions. It can be treacherous for you, especially out around Broken Arrow and the southeast sides of Tulsa. So here's what's happening right now in terms of collisions. 169 northbound near 81st. They are still working on that crash. And so we had a reporter there earlier. The inside lane still definitely closed. The outside lane was closed for a portion of time. So use some caution there. And then as we head over to I-44 and Memorial, this is also a crash site that we heard about. And this is going to be just north of the Broken Arrow Expressway on I-44. We have a new crash coming in on 23rd Street. This is going to be near 23rd and 244 westbound. So this is going to be near Southwest Boulevard, Highway 75 south for westbound at 23rd Street south of downtown Tulsa. That is a new crash coming out to us. And then also a new crash. There's, again, a lot to talk about here. So 81st and Memorial, right at the intersection. Now we are on Operation Slick Streets. So again, TPD is only responding to injury collisions only. We have a lot of problems out there with the rain that continues to fall, ponding on the roadways. It's easy to hydroplane in these conditions, and the rain is just going to continue for quite a while longer. So this was a list of collisions here. When it comes to the flooding, you can pretty much guarantee that the low-lying spots and the flood-prone spots across Tulsa are going to have problems. Reagan just told us about 51st. So between 51st, right about 51st and Yale, they've closed it down, and that closing is for both directions of traffic on Yale between 51st and 61st. So that is a problem spot. And also, I want to take Links 3 for a second because I've added a couple areas, quite a few areas on Links 3 here. Those purple dots are where the city of Tulsa has pretty much said, hey, these are areas around the city that are prone to flooding, and these usually have problems. So you can see there's a lot through Midtown, and there's a lot right around 15th and the BA, also 21st and the Fairgrounds. But also we have overlaid is our 12-hour rainfall total. So when you're getting into that yellow color, that's where you have had the higher amounts of rain. So you're going to have more of an issue with ponding. And the areas where you see the purple dots, so the troublesome areas, 31st and Yale has an issue quite a bit. We also have an issue around 41st and Sheridan usually, and Memorial can have problems around 41st and around 71st near Woodland Hills Mall. There's a pocket of rain right around Woodland Hills Mall where the radar is picking up about 3.5 inches. So that's probably an area to avoid. And then out to the east, we mentioned earlier 81st and Elwood. That's always a troublesome spot, and they're starting to see the rain accumulate even more in that area. So that could be over 2 inches around, and that's going to probably close Elwood there near 81st over by Jones Riverside Airport. And so, again, where the purple dots are on your screen, the city of Tulsa had said, hey, those are flood-prone areas, and I think you're going to have mostly a problem where you're seeing that yellow color that extends back to the southeast into Broken Arrow. So when you're out on the roadways, back to our traffic alert map, because I do have some tips for you. Again, don't stress out. Make sure you allow yourself plenty of extra time. Again, our newest crash is going to be on 244 westbound. It's Highway 75 southbound out of downtown Tulsa at 23rd Street. It's an injury crash. Ponding is a big concern. The rain coming in is still a concern. Your visibilities are reduced. Slow down. Notice a lot of folks there have their headlights on. That is great. And you can even tell just by watching the traffic flow that they are moving slow. So that's good. Headlights are on. Don't get into a big hurry. And of course, turn around, don't drown. When you're coming up to those low-lying areas and water's over the roadway, just turn around. Don't risk it because it doesn't take a lot of water to sweep the vehicle off of the roadway. It takes about 1 to 2 feet. That's it. And you're not going to be 100% sure that the roadway is even still there. So don't take that risk. Just find an alternate route. It's going to take you a little more time, but at least you're going to be safe.
All right. Thanks. That was a good dissertation of what's going on right now. Appreciate it. So again, the big picture, just to give you an idea where our rain chances are lessening somewhat if you're north and west of Tulsa. High school football games, the only game that we know of is Coweta that has been rescheduled for tomorrow at 2 p.m. So they're just going to play the game tomorrow when the weather is going to be a little bit better. And we'll have the forecast coming up at 5 o'clock, which is still about an hour away. But we can tell you at least the rain chances diminish dramatically as we go through the next 3 to 4 hours in terms of really heavy flooding potential type of rain around the Tulsa area. Most of this is going to be starting to shift further south and east, and that's what we're seeing right now. And you see some of the flood warnings that are in the areas. This is the flood warning for the Tulsa County area. This is flood warnings out from around Oklahoma City, back out to the west and south central Oklahoma. Our radar range, we're pretty much showing it here, but you can see the heaviest rains, Hughes County, now extending through eastern Creek County, northwestern Okmulgee County, and then southern Tulsa. These are the areas that have picked up the 3 to 5 inches of rain. I have one of our friends whose name is Travis, and of course he's probably a super guy, just saying. I don't know if he is or not, but usually they are. Did you just throw up? Didn't you? Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, all right. Anyway, we're talking about this area. Travis is located in the area that's near Broken Arrow. He had about 5 inches of rain, a little over 5 inches of rain. His pool was overflowing?
Yeah, he was going to send us some pictures.
All right. He did.
Oh, he did? Oh, good.
Yeah, so you can
Good.
find those and put those on.
Perfect.
And that was about 15 minutes ago, so he's probably even overfull now.
Yeah.
But that's the case. I mean, can you imagine some of the people that have pools, you know, say, okay, we're okay, and then all of a sudden it's like 5 inches higher or 6 inches higher and overflowing. So those are the situations where we're having a significant amount of rainfall, where it is primarily, if you look at Tulsa, here's downtown Tulsa, and then you can see how we extend from southeast of Tulsa and then go through the Jinx area back down to the Coweta area. And these are rainfall estimates off of radar. Brandon, we're going to go talk to our storm teams for a little bit. Let's talk to Brandon, who's sitting in South Tulsa right now with a big U-Haul truck in front of him. Brandon, what do you have for us?
Travis, right here at 121st Memorial, just some moderate rainfall falling right now. A lot of street flooding there along the curb of Memorial. We're getting ready to make our way back to the east to head back towards the southeast side of Broken Arrow to see what we can find. But drivers are really taking it slow. I've seen a lot of drivers using their headlights and just being very cautious. And but we're going to stay with this all evening. Travis, back to you.
Hey, appreciate it. So again, that rain continues. It's letting up a little bit. It's still a ton of water though, and these are areas where the rain has continued. So where Brandon is located on 121st and Memorial, and you can see he's just moving off to the east on 121st. This is an area, in fact, and we're going to widen out just a little bit from here, and then we'll go back to radar, live radar. But we're showing some of the heaviest rains again that have fallen, cover any place from, well, we can just say fairgrounds, there we go, from the fairgrounds east of the gathering place. So fortunately that is not full of water. I'm sure they have all the engineering. I wonder what it'd be like at a gathering place to have like 5 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches of rain. They probably got that all figured out. The slides could be really fast. Mm-hmm. And then you just float into water and just slide on down to the boat area.
Great.
There's a chance that you could just float it. That's interesting. If you haven't been to the gathering place, you do have to check it out. Of course, we were lucky enough just because we were there when we opened the gates gathering place to be right there, and then we were able to tour it all, and it was like, wow. We went back and spent a lot of time that afternoon there. It was like, we got to go back. And if you haven't, you got to take that in. It is definitely unique to see what they did with just a 50 acres, I guess 50 acres, of flat, whatever you want to call it, land that was just next to the Arkansas River. There's nothing more than a bunch of Bermuda grass. And it just changed it into a whole wild kingdom almost, it seems like. All right, anyway, we're looking at rain showers still with the heaviest rains here. And then also Creek County, we've calmed down a little bit. Let's go to radar. Can you go to reflectivity for a minute and look at this? So the amounts of rainfall still are moderate to heavy. So anytime you see the yellows and the reds, that's where we're having it. If you're just joining us on Facebook, rain, the heaviest of the rains, kind of calming down a little bit in Creek County. Heaviest rains now are further to the east, and so you can see where Brandon and Tim are located, and Vaughn. So there's still a ton of water in multiple locations. Vaughn is down around the mountains area at this point. Let's go to Vaughn with an update on what's going on there because he has a little bit of information. This looks like he is maybe in the mountains area, but moderate to occasionally heavy downpours of rain showing up in the areas. And is he available now? Okay. Vaughn, if you're available, looks like you're in mounds. What's going on?
Actually, not.
We're having a little bit of issue with the cell phone. Try it one more time. Nope, you're sounding pretty digitized there. I'll let you go for a second. We'll try to get you a little bit better sound in just a second. We'll come back to you in a few minutes. Who's on REN 37 right now? Is JD? Is JD available to talk to Stephen? Stephen Narens is running around. That guy, he's a rock star. All right, Stephen, go ahead if you would. JD, if you're there, can you give me an update?
Yeah, Travis, I'm exactly 1 mile south of Highway 9 on the Indian Nation Turnpike, where we've got some heavy pooling. We had a car go through the cable barrier, so part of the car is still on the cable. Right now, they went all the way through. They were southbound, and they went all the way across into the northbound. They're off in the grass here, and so first responders are here. We're the first ones on the scene. The ambulance should be getting here shortly. Now, I can't tell for sure, but I would say this is probably an injury accident creating a slowdown here on the Indian Nation Turnpike, Travis. We'll get back with you.
All right. We'll just hope and pray that they're – and you think they're okay? They look okay, right?
It's hard. Well, it's hard to say, Travis. There's a majority of the front end of the car is still in the cable. So yeah, I really wouldn't want to speculate right now, Travis.
Okay, no, that's good. All right, thanks, JD. I appreciate it. So again, still moderate to heavy rains. You can see where he's located on the Indian Nation Turnpike. Hydroplaning probably is the cause. It just doesn't take much. And I've got to get some new tires on my pickup because I was thinking about that today. Because you have good tread, that doesn't mean you can drive 65 miles an hour. It just means that there's probably a higher probability that you can stay on the road a little bit better than somebody who has bald tires. Now, if you have bald tires and you're trying to drive down the road, you better be going awful slow. Same thing goes for snow and ice, obviously, because there's no traction. And all you do is just pretty much become a boat, and that's where the problems come in. So the worse your tires are, the worse the probability of getting in a lot of trouble. The heaviest rains continue to still rock into the area. Unfortunately, you see how it's just kind of pulling back, and we're kind of like, come on, get away from here and get it further east and spread it out a little bit. But moderate to heavy rains going on where JD is located through Lake Eufaula area of McIntosh County. And then that band of moderate to heavy rains off to the east sides of Tulsa. At this time, we're going to have to be sending somebody over there pretty soon if this keeps up in that same location around Wagner. There it is. Okay, awesome. Because that is lots and lots of water. I don't think I've talked to Vaughn. Yeah. I just talked to Vaughn. Okay. We're going to try one more time, see if we can get him. Vaughn, nope, is still, audio still bad? Okay, bummer. Anyway, so the amounts of rainfall coming in South Tulsa, still moderate to heavy. Let's go to Lynx 1 for a minute, give you an idea. Here's some of the official totals that have come in today. So some of our radar estimates are 4, 5, 6 inches, but these are official totals that have been collected from some of the rain gauge sites. And so almost 4 inches now in Bixby. Bristow coming in about 3.5 inches. Porter, a little over 2.5 inches. McAllister, not that much. Now in Hughes County, just west of McAllister, a lot of water. And that's moving into your area, so you'll be picking up some. Inola's been waiting on rain. You guys, 2 inches of rain almost. That is good. And you probably should pick up another ½ inch to an inch of rain before this is over with. So that is welcome news for the folks around Inola, because that's just been like, what was it, 30 days without a ¼ inch of rain or something like that. So that was miserable as far as what was going on there. Back down to Links 4 for a moment, and we're going to widen up a little bit, and you can see what's going on here with rain and showers still going on across much there. And lightning detection, I'll get out of the picture here so you can look at that. That is not much. So we do not have too much going on there, and no need to worry at this point for lightning strikes. And Brandon, we're going to do a cut in here in 30 seconds, is it? Right, so we don't have time for that. All right, we're going to do a quick break from Facebook Live, and we'll be back. We're going to do a live cut in on Channel 6 coming up, so hang on.
From News on 6, this is a severe weather update.
Hey, good afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Travis Meyer, our meteorology staff, continuing to cover all the weather. Our storm trackers are out all over. We still have some issues associated with south sides of Tulsa. Stacia will be with us in just a moment, talking to us about all the traffic accidents. It's rush hour time period right now. Also some heavy rain still showing up, a band coming up around the Leonard Stone Bluff area, also around Wagner County. Really, really heavy rain. This hasn't moved here for the last hour, so we could be seeing 2 to 3 to 4 inches of rain in these areas now, and that could add to some lowland flooding or some areas of flooding. Down to the south, a little bit more moderate to heavy rains continue across this area, and all the way down to McIntosh County, heavy rains. JD is on an accident right now in an area that's on the Indian Nations Turnpike that could be hydroplaning. 51st and Yale just got opened up, which is good news to hear, but we do have a lot of problems back into the Tulsa area. First of all, though, let's take a little closer inspection on Links 1 of the flood warning that's in effect. Now, this cleared up or cleaned up a little bit. We've had 3 to 5 inches so far, but pretty much 244 to the south. So downtown Tulsa, Tulsa International, back to the south, northern Okmulgee County, and then into western Wagner County. We do have our flood warning in effect till 7:45. It's been maintaining. It's not gotten a ton worse, but there's still a lot of accidents. Stacia Knight is with us right now with an update on that. Stacia.
Hi, Travis. We have a lot of issues around Tulsa because of the driving conditions. We've had many collisions reported, and keep in mind that we are on Operation Slick Streets, so TPD is only responding to injury collisions only. Right now we have 2 crashes pretty close to each other, one on 81st near Memorial. The other one was on 169 northbound, also near 81st, but that one looks like it has cleared up at this time. On your screen, you are looking at a live video coming in from Brandon Wells, and he is down to the south around 121st and Garnett, and that vehicle there possibly hydroplaning. So again, we're having a lot of concerns. Now it looks like 51st, we're getting reports, is now open, so that is good. Yale between 51st and 61st. The low-lying spots around Tulsa, the flood-prone spots, those are going to have the biggest issue. Also, drivers leaving downtown Tulsa, 75 southbound, crash at 23rd Street. Traffic is backed up all the way to the IDL.
All right, it's a bit of a mess again for traffic, so allow yourself extra time. As we always say, turn around, don't drown. Additional rain is still here. It is weakening a little bit to the north and west. We have more updates coming up a little bit, of course, at 5 o'clock as well. Keep it here. We'll keep you advised. Hey, welcome back to Facebook Live. We're going to continue our coverage for a little bit longer here just because of the heavy rains and the amounts of precipitation still falling in several locations. Most of the problems now seem to be the heaviest, and you can kind of see this with me, is at Wagner County from around Inola. Of course, Inola, you can probably get 2 or 3 inches of rain and be happy about that. What'd you say? Talk to me again. Reagan, okay. Okay, good. But we have moderate to heavy rainfall around Wagner, and so this area has been picking up tons of rain in central portions of Wagner County. We still have some bands of moderate to heavy rains coming in around the Tulsa area and then further to the south. It is not as heavy as it was earlier, which is following what our computer models were giving us. It was supposed to move further south and east. That's where you guys now, McIntosh County, are picking up some of the moderate to heavy rains as well, and the southeastern portion of Okmulgee County. Back in the Tulsa area, some of the rains that continue have still been causing some issues. And closer in, you can see where Vaughn, Tim, Brandon are located. And Reagan is right around the 51st and Yale area. So he is located just about right up in here. Let's go to Reagan with an update. What do you have for us?
Travis, good news out here. Yale is back open between 51st and 61st. See behind me, cars are going both ways now. As we were actually going to go head down to 51st Street and see what kind of water was over the roadway that's caused it to be closed. As we were in the process of doing that, they decided to reopen the roads because of the water either dried up or ended up getting off the road. So just a couple puddles down there. It's not a lot of water anymore. But again, Yale is back open between 51st and 61st Street. So it's going to help the congestion out here with all these drivers on the roadways. Back to you, Travis.
All right. Hey, Reagan, thank you so much. Good news, especially during rush hour. And Stacia's going to be happy because you can take that off of the list of problems, issues in Tulsa. Again, our flood warning still in effect, though, for southern Tulsa County. We have not had that many closings. That's good. I mentioned football games still. Not hearing too much out of folks, and I was talking to some of the athletic directors a little bit ago, and while Stacia was busy on the air, but they're kind of waiting just a little bit longer. The safety, obviously, number one. Lightning, safety issue, but lightning's number two after just the safety of getting students to and from, and football teams, everybody else. It's such a big coordinated effort trying to make these things happen. They're such a headache for athletic directors. It's like, oh my gosh. How are we going to do this and make sure everybody's safe and all that? So they're going through pretty much all their steps and procedures to make that happen. But a lot of the heavier rains are starting to weaken across areas of central Tulsa County. And you can see some of the yellows yet are still heavy. But if you notice, there's been a downturn in the amount of red that you see. And most of the reds and some of the more intense rainfalls are now off further south and east. In fact, could we go to rainfall intensities, Stacia, for a minute and do that? Were you going to do that? Yeah. Were you reading my simple mind? Sometimes. That's sometimes or all the time? What is that? It kind of hurt if you say all the time. I'm just going to say. But anyway, this is a bit serious, though, down in here near the Wagner area. This is a rainfall that is just dumping copious amounts of rain. And so this would be toad strangler rain. This is bad visibility is probably down to near zero right in this zone. So this is excessive. I mean, to get rainfall rates at that 5 inches an hour, that's like you have to do that in a hurricane. So it's very tropical. It's very small, but for anybody that's right in this zone, they'd be like, oh my goodness. So this is, again, location of some of the heaviest rains that have been occurring just recently. And then you can see that runs from around the Quita area and then back. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. Would you go all the way down into city street levels there? Good. And so that comes out of Wagner from Highway 51, then back in. I was trying to get South Road 250. And there's North 4270 Road. So this is the band that's the heaviest. And can you give me a rainfall amounts there? Sorry, she's just walking away to go do something else. And so this just all picked up in about the last 2 hours with really heavy downpours of rain here. And you can see if you go just east from Wagner east, it's like what rain? And then you go west, and so we're in 2 to 3 inch territory there over the course of just the last couple of hours. So this has been very heavy downpours of rain. I'm going to go to, if I can, who's available to me right now, Stephen? Brandon, Darren, and who? Brandon? Yes. Just go. We'll go to Brandon first. Brandon, I just saw Brandon. Where is Brandon? He is. Let's go to links. Links 3, let's go to Links 3 for a minute. This is some of the heaviest rains in Tulsa right now. Tim is on the south side. Where's Brandon? He's down Broken. Could you slide a little further south? I thought he was on my map here, sorry. Slide. Okay, those were flooding spots that are notorious for flooding that you see there, that Stacia had put on there. And so far we haven't had too many of those. Remember, 51st is open now, and going back down southeast a little bit. There he is. Okay. And Brandon, if you're with me right now, can you give me a quick update on, you just left a scene of where there was a car. What happened with that and what's going on now?
Yeah, Travis, there in the eastbound lanes on 121st between Olive and Garnett. It was a single vehicle incident, no injuries. Her and her daughter were okay. Broken Arrow Fire and medical are responding now. We're actually making our way back that way. But they were okay. They just hydroplaned, another incident of hydroplaning going too fast. They hydroplaned, lost control, and she ended up in the ditch, and it's blocking the eastbound lanes of 121st, Travis.
All right. Appreciate it very much, Brandon. Let's go on to Darren right now and get an update from Darren and what's going on with him. Darren, what do you have and where are you right now? All right, he's not available. Go ahead, Darren.
Travis, I'm here in the northeast part of Wagner County. I'm on 305th East Avenue and 111th southbound. Trying to make my way over there to that area that you were just referencing, just to the west of Wagner there. But right along 305th, there's a lot of we have a lot of viewers that live in that area, and all those traditional low-lying areas there, the water is covering the roads. So again, there are no warning signs up. So you're just going to have to, where those areas are, just slow down and you'll be just fine, Travis.
All right. I appreciate it. Hey, Darren, since you've been driving there, I mean, really, it's not too bad considering how much rain has fallen during the course of the last few hours. But, I mean, you really don't have water over too many roads, right?
On 305th, it's sporadic, but for the most part, yes, what you said is true. The drainage ditches and everything have done a really good job of getting stuff off the roadway, Travis.
Good. Thanks. I appreciate it, Darren, a lot. And so this is an area, so he's going to go check out Wagner County for us because now we're pushing 3.7 inches in a few areas there. Brandon's on the south side. I want to go back to, let's go down Indian Nations Turnpike if we could. And let's go down and see if JD is available to talk to again and see if he has any more information. Vaughn is near Beggs. We'll go to him, and then we might wrap up after a little bit here. JD, let's go to you. Quick update on that accident and what's going on.
Yeah, Travis. So this car struck the cable barrier that divides the two north and south bound lanes, and part of the car is hung in the cable. They took out 10 of the vertical posts that aligns the cable. The car's over here disabled. Both passengers and the driver are okay. They're without any harm at all. But the car is, disabled. So they're waiting on a ride right now. We're going to head north and look for some more flooding, Travis.
All right. I appreciate it. Hey, I don't have Vaughn on the phone right now, but I do want to go to his video if we could, guys, and look at that. He's just on the north side of Beggs. This is Highway 75, Old 75, and this is going under the railroad tracks. And it looks barricades are up in here. And this floods. Anytime there's heavy rain, it floods. So that's where he's at right now. And cell service in this area. I'm glad we got a video out of here, in fact. Cell service is a little rough sometimes in some parts of Beggs. My veterinarian is there. Anyway, not that that means anything to anybody. My own personal
For you?
For me
That's
only.
Where you go to?
Yeah, for my cow, Lula.
Sorry.
Anyway, thanks for showing how selfish I am. I appreciate that. But anyway, we're talking about heaviest rains that, in fact, this is also going to go away in the next, I don't know how long it's going to take for this to go away, but they're working on this so that we don't have to deal with this in the future. So there's some good news because this is another flood prone area. And so this is down again, just north side of Beggs on Old Highway 75 there. Also, let's see, that's about it there. We're going to take a quick look at radar and we're going to wrap this up because a lot of folks are going to be heading home. We got to prepare and get some of our better weathercasting in to make sure that we have the latest on the forecast. But heavy rain still around the Wagner area. Flood warning continues across a big chunk of the area. You can see that this is the outline, the polygon right in here. And so this is still flood warning, and that includes all of southern Tulsa County at this time. So it's still lots of water showing up in a lot of these areas. Vaughn is down by the Beggs area, as we told you. Tim's also continuing to look at South Tulsa area. Brandon's in South Tulsa. Darren's headed off to around the Wagner area. Additional moderate to heavy rains will continue in southeast Oklahoma. Let's go to southeast Oklahoma for a minute and get a view for folks down at McAllister and McIntosh County. This is the heavy rain bands that are coming in on you guys. So if you're planning on football games, you guys are going to be in more trouble. We talked about this last night on Channel 6, that southeast Oklahoma during football game time was going to have more issues. So we're getting close to 4:30 right now. So some of the heaviest rains continue across the southeast. Stacia, I'm going to go to you with a storm. I'm going to have you just do a quick update on traffic before we leave, because once we leave, then we probably won't come back till the newscast unless something big happens here. But the heaviest rains again from I-40 to the south, McIntosh County, torrential rainfall, Pittsburgh County, torrential rainfall. And this is all still building up in your area. And Latimer County, also in Haskell County around Stigler, you guys are up next, and then Sequoia County, Cherokee County. So all of you guys that are down here in this zone that might be watching or have family, you're going to be getting heavy rains here in the next couple of hours as this continues to track to the east and to the southeast. So that's going to be one of the bigger issues that will be showing up here before too long. Okay, so that's that. And Sean, you're going to have to watch out because I'm going to throw to Stacia, and you're going to have a nice side profile. Unless you like the side profile?
I think he wanted to.
You think so?
You don't want to come in, Sean?
Maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
There he is. We love Sean. All right, guys, what you need to know when you get out on the roadways is it can be a treacherous drive. Even though the rain has slowly lightened up, it's not completely going away, but it's not as heavy as it once was here in Tulsa. We still have many issues out there. One issue right now is southbound 75, 244 westbound. There's a crash near 23rd Street, and because we're in rush hour here, roads are wet, we have rain falling. This is causing quite a bit of a backup from the crash site near 23rd all the way up into the IDL. So that is going to give you a much longer drive than you probably anticipated leaving downtown Tulsa southbound 75. Also new information coming in. One of the typical troublesome spots when it comes to flooding is 101st and Garnett. The Broken Arrow I believe police department has said that the city of Broken Arrow, excuse me, has said they will be closing the intersection there because of high water. So that intersection is completely closed. Be very careful in all of the flood prone areas and the low lying areas across town, especially on the eastern sides and the south sides of the Tulsa Metro. Probably not as much of an issue north of 244, but south of 244. That is going to be the problems, the areas that you're going to want to watch the low-lying flood-prone places because we're seeing the most issues there. And we have a crash at about 81st and Memorial. Now we remember a flood-prone spot is 71st and Memorial over by Woodland Hills Mall. We're still seeing ponding conditions across the metro and down to the south. So you're going to have a lot of water ponding on the shoulders, on and off ramps, and anywhere where there's a dip in the roadway. And that could be a spot where you could have some hydroplaning trouble. So please be careful. The best thing to do is, of course, just slow down, keep those headlights on, taking a live look outside, not seeing much of that heavy rain falling anymore. But we're going to keep the ponding concerns with us for the next several hours. Highway 75 is very slow there at I-44 and 75. Could be rush hour, could be rain. But again, we're having quite a few collisions. And TPD is on Operation Slick Street. So remember, they're only responding to injury collisions. That's the Broken Arrow Expressway there in 169. Remember, slow down, headlights on. And the best thing to do is turn around, don't drown. It doesn't take much to sweep your vehicle off of the roadway. 1 foot to 2 feet of water will do it. And that's not something that you want to risk. You don't even know if the roadway is there. So please don't do that. Just turn around and don't take that risk.
Amen. Amen, amen, amen. All right. We're going to wrap this part up. JD had some, is he near I'm trying to remember. That's Brandon? Okay. Oh, that is Brandon. Brandon, just one quick update from you. Where are you right now?
Travis, I am at Hakey Creek Park here on the Broken Arrow Bixby line near 111. And right now, the water is just about, there's still quite a bit of bank, but on this far south side, it's almost out of its bank, almost into the park.
All right, good. Not good, but it's good to know that because I was trying to figure out what that was. So some people laughed at me for saying good. Yeah, that's bad. Anyway, all right, thanks, Brandon. I appreciate that. And so a quick update is that we're going to continue to cover the latest of what's going on. Most of the heaviest of the rains are weakening in the immediate Tulsa area. If you're in Wagner County, Pittsburgh County, McIntosh County, areas to our south and east, we're going to be monitoring this. And so as we get reports, we'll be right back on and talking about that. We're also going to be doing a cut-in here on Channel 6 coming up. I hope you join us at 4:43. And then also at 5 o'clock, we'll continue our coverage as well. Needless to say, there's still a lot of water for you guys southeast. The risk of really, really bad flooding is kind of stabilizing right now and dropping a little bit as far as risk factors for the Tulsa area. And so that's the overall kind of rounding up of what's going on. We still have our flash flood warning in effect for southern half of Tulsa County going on till 7:45 tonight because of the additional rain, because obviously we're saturated now, so any additional rain is just going to run off. And so that's still, it's not over with, but at least it doesn't look like it's elevating any worse. It's going to be holding steady. We have additional information as necessary. Thank you for watching here on Facebook Live. We'll be back in a little bit, as I said, 4:43, coming up on Channel 6 and at 5 o'clock as well. See you later. Stay dry. Turn around, don't drown.